Today's show is brought to you in part by Squarespace. Squarespace helps you build your own website with beautiful templates created by world-class designers. Their goal is to make it easy to turn your idea into a new and unique site in just a few clicks. And if you want to know how you're doing, they've got real-time analytics. Everyone loves analytics. And if you've got a question, they got 24/7 customer support. Think it, dream it, make it with Squarespace. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial. When you're ready to launch, use the offer code Bombcast to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com for your free trial. Use the offer code Bombcast.
Hey, what's up? It's Tuesday, September the 19th, 2017.
Ready to podcast!
Hello. Ready to podcast.
All right.
It's the Giant Bombcast, where Ben Pack just uttered the following words, and I quote, "The top 1,000 games of the last 10 years ranked."
Number one.
Okay, get to it.
Mass Effect 2.
Start.
All right.
No. I mean,
Number 2.
Kind
Dota
of?
2.
kind of, but no.
Dota 2 is still in early access. We can't
Yeah,
consider
yeah.
it for this.
Mass Effect 2 is such an amazing middle of a story.
But the middle's always the best part.
With
Yeah.
It's where
Empire.
the establishment is out of the
dark middle
establishing
chapters.
stuff is out of the way.
pretty good.
But
We don't
you're,
have
you're
to
not
have an
resolving anything
unsatisfying
yet.
conclusion.
So it's just like everything can be fucked up.
Yeah. Questions
That
are always
last
more
mission-
interesting than answers.
I'm a professional screenwriter. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Middle chapter. Sometimes it can be dark.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the second act.
Yeah.
It's the best act.
Number 2 is number 1 with me.
Oh. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I like to take poops.
Okay. It's
That's
not, where,
not
it's not
what-
where I thought this was going.
That's not what he didn't want you to say, but he didn't want you to say
Yeah.
that.
Also, I've found a new vein of things Brad doesn't want me to talk about that we're going to mine out here.
Okay, go on.
Tell me about your poop vein.
Sometimes you drink coffee.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's a roll of the dice, baby.
Okay.
All right. It turns out I don't want to talk about this either. Congratulations. You called my bluff.
All right, I'll carry this
All
convo.
right.
What you got?
I had a protein pack on the plane ride.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
And
That's what they call him. Protein pack.
And
Ben, the protein pack.
too much protein at that altitude can really mess with your
Whoa,
insides.
man.
I'll say.
This podcast got gastric in a way that I was not expecting.
It's always been.
Can we go back to ranking 1,000 video games?
Mass Effect 3. Not on the list.
Not
in the top 1,000
on.
video games.
Come on, man.
It's in the 800 range, I'll say.
Mass Effect Andromeda may be in the top 1,000.
No.
Maybe.
No, I'll see.
No, probably
I
not.
would see to it. that
Probably
it's
not.
No,
Actually, probably
no,
not.
probably not. If you, yeah, I was gonna say if you can't name 1,000 good games over the last decade,
Yeah.
then what are you doing here?
I don't know. I don't know if I actually.
Actually, that's 100 games a year. That's actually kind of a fucking lot.
It is. I mean,
yeah.
with as many indie games as come out,
Number 2,
These days.
Gunpoint.
you could probably yes, with stuff like Gunpoint around the edges, the periphery.
I could maybe get Monster Hunter on a list sometime.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you make the list long enough, at some point
Yeah,
you
at some
have to
point I
put
could
Monster
probably-
Hunter on it.
Awesome.
it's true.
That's
Just
how that
like
works.
number 600 through 650 through 660 are all the Monster Hunters.
Oh, gotcha.
That's just the Jason zone. Any game you want to have on the list, we've
get my
set
own
aside
zone.
650 to
Like-
660
$5.99 to $6.99
for Dynasty
all,
Warriors, which
all
I know
Monster
you
Hunter.
love.
Oh god.
100 straight Monster Hunter games. It's the Monster Hunter Century,
Yeah,
which is the next game coming to.
that would be a good name.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Centuries.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not bad.
or Centuries. Yeah,
It implies like some ancient mystical something or other.
or time travel. Either
And-
way.
and it's
How much time
They
you
gotta-
put into it?
long
before
storied history.
To get
you get it anywhere?
an AK to
Yeah.
take down the.
There you go. All right. Yes. Now you're talking.
They did. They absolutely said that they wanted Monster Hunter World to play more like a third-person shooter. So
That's
we're getting there.
That's a bad.
We're getting there.
That's a bad direction for them to go in.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
maybe it would be something that that could be more accessible to
Well,
more people.
what I
but,
mean
like,
is
That, like
that's
that
not-
light bowgun fires like a gun.
yeah, what
Yeah.
I mean is that the ranged weapons, from my limited experience, have always been miserable to use in those games.
Sure.
And then with a nice controller, you can now just move around and aim and shoot.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice change of pace.
Huh. All right.
Like a lot of the ranged weapons, from what I've seen in Monster Hunter, you had to be stationary to fire.
What kind of character
I'll put it that
loadout?
way.
Yo, can you put martyrdom on that? I want to die and drop a
Yeah,
grenade. Can I do
sure.
that?
I guess
Can we
so,
just
yeah.
Set up double tap. What are we doing?
Oh yeah, Firefly.
Yeah.
Wait, what is double tap?
Double tap is an increased rate of fire. So you do
Oh.
a P90 with double tap.
Okay,
It's like an Echo Saber.
I see. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm more used to triple tap, which returns one round to the magazine after multiple precision hits.
Okay, yeah. No,
That's my expertise. Video games.
your expertise in video games?
Like, no,
Prove it. Tell
Definitely-
me the top 1,000 games of the
Definitely
last
not.
10 years. Ridge Racer 6.
6?
My intro.
No.
There we go.
10 years?
Now
Fallout
it's not the video
3.
game.
Oh, 10 years cuts off whatever launched with the PS3. In terms of
Oh,
Ridge,
yeah.
in
Okay.
terms
So
of,
Trash
I guess Ridge
Panic.
Racer
in
6
terms
then
of
does-
Ridge Racers,
Yeah, Ridge
there-
Racer 6 would not count.
there's
Nor
not-
would 7.
there's not much to choose from in the Ridge Racer category
Holy shit.
in the last
Like the
10
last
years.
10 years of it has been
Metal Gear Solid 4, not on the list.
not oh god damn it.
Oh, what the fuck?
This got dark fast.
Can't be right. It's so right. Oh no, I'm old. Okay.
Yeah, we're
Coming
old.
to terms.
Wanna
with it.
feel
no,
old?
We'd established last week that the Dreamcast is 18 years old. We're all going to die someday. So let's have fun
I welcome it.
while we can.
Yeah.
Let's waste our lives grinding Destiny loot.
No.
No.
Okay, let's talk about a game other than Destiny.
All right, let's hear it.
Yay.
Then we talk about Destiny later.
Yes, there's still plenty to say about Destiny. Fuck.
18 minutes until Destiny 2.
Tell me about... Are you prepared to talk about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite?
All I've been talking about.
It's Marvel, baby.
It is Marvel,
It's
baby.
back. Marvel's back.
Yeah?
I think so.
Marvel's back, and this is one of the most conflicted I've ever felt about a video game.
Wow. Okay.
So like, okay, let's get it out of the way. Okay. I feel weird talking about the fighting in it because I feel like the fighting is good is going to be like the shooting is good in
that's
Destiny,
yes.
right?
Okay.
So that's the fighting in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is good.
Okay, break that down for me a little bit because all I've been seeing over the past 2 weeks is people saying like, "Oh, so and so has a 70% combo that uses no meter. This game's fucked," or
That's
"This person has an
Marvel.
infinite. This fucked." Like,
Isn't that-
that's Marvel? But is the fighting good? If that's Marvel,
It still feels good.
Like, that's
and it leaves a lot of room for
Okay.
experimentation,
Yeah.
which is a trademark Marvel thing.
all right.
I
The
mean,
other
doesn't
thing
that-
I've heard
doesn't
some
everybody's
people
kind
say,
of broken in that
and
game to a
I
certain
hate to be
degree.
just like repeating shit I saw on the internet, but I just don't have the knowledge with Marvel to do anything else. The other thing I heard saw people saying was that experimentation is kind of moot because of cases where like people are doing like different combos that kind of all do the same damage and all of the same basic properties at the end of it.
And a
it's
lot of
not
combos
actually-
are positional, right? Like there's some that are mid-screen only and some that are corner
corner
only
combos
and stuff like that. So it's basically plays very so for anyone who doesn't know. This game, unlike Marvel vs. Capcom 3, is a 2v2. And instead of having assists, you have an active tag button.
What was 3? 3 on 3?
3 on 3.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, instead of having two backup characters with their own assists, you hit a button and they will your teammate will run in. You can do it mid combo, right? So like, let's say you're Iron Man and you do like a 4-hit combo into super. You hit them with that big laser gun, and then you hit the tag button while they're being hit with the laser gun, and you can continue the combo with your second character.
Would you say that's
Frank
it's almost,
West jumps out and throws a shopping cart
Yeah.
at him.
Takes a picture, throws a shopping cart at them.
is it almost kind of like it's like Street Fighter Cross Tekken,
Yeah.
where you could kind of tag that person in mid combo and keep going?
and continue it.
Yes, except it's way crazier because there's like launchers and air combos.
Yeah,
and stuff like
it's
that.
it's still a versus game, so it's still big in a way that Cross was not.
But they've added some cool things in this one that I think were smart improvements on 3. There is a combo break mechanic that costs you 2 bars to use. But this game feels way less about, all right, I touched your character, now I'm going to kill him, and then I'm going to do a mix-up on your incoming character and maybe kill him, and if I do the same thing on your third character.
And we're going to end up 3 screens off the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This feels more like a honest-to-goodness 2-on-2 fighting game.
I feel more neutral stages, like
Yeah.
in this version. Yeah.
Wait, what does that mean? Like
more-
for the layman,
Like neutral, still like more time to just kind of.
Well, Ben just mentioned
Recover.
like your character comes in and then like in Marvel 3, your character would be in like kind of like a 50-50 state. Like your character comes in like
It means you have to guess one or
so
the
let's say-
other.
now I know
If you guess wrong, you're dead.
now I know how
Kind
people
of.
who don't know about Dota feel.
right. I mean, yeah. So your character comes in, but your opponent, has the ability to attack you as soon as you're coming in. But they don't know. you don't know what side exactly
And
you're
they could be
blocking.
blocking.
Yes, now I get it.
They could maybe
Whereas-
Now I
wait and
get
do a
it.
throw.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of options.
I get it.
Whereas
now.
like a neutral state, it's more like you're both kind of facing off.
Okay.
Like the start of a round.
You can
Right.
breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can go offensive or defensive.
You don't immediately have to be on guard. Or okay, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So and then there's the stone system, the Infinity Stones. There's 6 of them, and they all have a different active ability. Like this one gives you a dash. This one pulls the opponent closer to you. This one's a homing projectile.
And are those the exact same on every character?
Yes, you choose your 2 characters and your 1 stone when you pick your team. And then
They're
they
all
have like
super
a super
powerful in that they've really changed the gameplay or the dynamic. Of
You
your
built. I found myself building my teams around the stone. Because let's say like a team I started trying out with is Hulk Hagar, right? It's the big meaty boys with command grabs, and they're not so good at getting in.
Just a couple of muscle-bound
Yeah,
knuckleheads.
just the huge dudes. Paired with the space gem, is that the blue one?
I'm not sure of the color. Yeah, but
I
space
think
is
it's
probably a
the
good
space
one
gem
for those guys.
because it pulls. You hit it and it pulls the enemy closer to you, right? So you can like dash forward and pull them closer to you because the way to beat those guys is run away, throw projectiles, whatever, or like you can obviously go in against them. But I saw that gem and I was like, wow, this would be great with characters with command grabs.
So you can just kind of force the gap closed and try to get your throw off.
Yeah. So that's all really fun. I think there's a lot of room for experimentation. I'm really excited to see where the game goes, how the meta develops. Like there's some early forerunners as really strong characters, but no one seems super OP right now. But everything else in the game is kind of a bummer.
Such as?
So they have quote fixed the art by having day 1 art patches.
Did they really fix it?
But yeah, so fixed was in huge giant air quotes if you couldn't hear them.
Right.
They still don't look great. Like they look better, sure, but it's still some of the, and it's not just the art, like some of the animations in the story mode, characters will be very stiff and then like walk in, or like they'll just kind of be standing and doing their idle animation in the background of a scene while like the Hulk and Ryu are
Now,
talking.
that just sounds good. When you describe that, I'm like, no, that's what I want to see. Is just like here's like a character back here just flexing up and down,
They're
just
doing their fight idle.
and then they walk forward and do it some more.
Anytime they're not moving.
And then they snap into a talking animation, and then they snap back into this.
Ryu's just always doing
just
this.
fucking fighter maker. Yeah.
He's a scientist now.
He-
Something like he's conducting some sort of like research.
Does
Yeah.
he wear,
reason for
does he
being
wear
in the
glasses
story?
and a lab coat?
No, he's still
No.
wearing
Is
his
he
gear.
researching a surge of murderous intent?
I think so.
So, kind of what Jason touched on, there's some really weird shit in that story mode that I can totally get behind.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
It's weird talking about the story mode of a fighting game, but I feel like NetherRealms recently has
Oh, yeah,
shown
that's
that you
like-
can do.
It's a thing now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when Capcom was making such a point to put this in.
Exactly, because after Street Fighter V not having it for a year.
Give or take.
I think
or
you could
take
look at the
after-
story mode they did put in and still say it doesn't have a story.
Yeah.
But that's yeah.
I'm with
It's much better than that.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like they have cool moments, and there's a lot of like, here's fucking Iron Man and Dante high-fiving over a shitty joke they made, because of course they would, because they're both huge scumbags. And
Yeah. What's the core conceit of why all these ridiculous different characters are together?
so Ultron from
Marvel.
Yes.
and Sigma from the X games. He's the guy who did the first guy who did the 900.
900,
Yeah. Team up with the power of the Infinity Stones and with the reality and space stones. They merge the universe of Capcom and the universe of Marvel together. And they actually do pretty cool stuff with that. Like, all the stages are like half Capcom, half Marvel. So you'll have a...
But not like down the middle. Because
No.
when they did Mortal Kombat versus DC, literally in some of those stages, there was a big line in the middle of like magma, and then on one side you had an MK stage, and it was cool for what it was.
Yeah, that sounds dumb in a different way.
Yeah.
This is more like the Black Panther world and the Monster Hunter world are combined. So you have like the Black Panther's kind of big, not temple, like palace, and a giant worm monster in the background, like fighting
Elder
against
Dragon,
the
yeah.
guards or whatever.
And then like some of the Monster Hunter like airships and stuff flying in the background. It looks really good.
Yeah,
The stages
a lot of the stages are really cool. I really like the music too.
Yeah.
All the characters. It does the Marvel 3 thing where every character has their theme.
Is the music? There's been some great music in the Marvel vs. Capcom series.
There has.
And do you think it stands up to the best song of Marvel vs. Capcom, the franchise?
No. It's no.
Of course it
There's
doesn't.
nothing close to "I Want to Take You for a Ride."
Yeah.
And even the other music in Marvel 2 is like some of the best music
it is really
in fighting games.
Yeah. It's got such its own vibe. I like fighting game music. I think is like
weird
this
jazzy
undersung
stuff.
thing.
Yeah, like weird jazz.
like the way Third Strike had, sounded and
mixed in hip hop.
Yeah.
Those games definitely had like
announcer
a
that-
style
yeah.
to them that was consistent. This and Marvel
less so.
3 are more about like, hey, here's the Ghosts and Goblins theme remixed when Arthur comes in. And it's like a fine remix or whatever, but it doesn't have that kind of overall tone to it.
Third Strike, I mean, very limited experience on my part, but always seemed like an example of them kind of knowing their audience. Or it's
Maybe,
like, this
yeah.
seems like something that would appeal to
I guess.
They had,
Yeah.
a,
kind
they had
of
a
the-
tone that they were going for.
Yeah,
They wanted to
yeah.
make it cohesive. And
like
they,
that kind
they
of
totally
the
did.
kind of rough and tumble arcade scene.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
If that makes sense.
Not to get too far off topic, but I can report that the video has resurfaced.
The video?
You should play
Third Strike.
Yeah,
It's a
I
good
saw,
game.
I saw people saying
good.
It resurfaced. There's a streamable link out there.
We need to archive this.
I did. I
Put it
downloaded
in the Library of
I downloaded
Congress.
a copy. It's on the library of my laptop hard drive for safekeeping.
Play Third Strike. It's a good game. Another big problem I had with it is the mission mode stuff. It's like the bare minimum.
It's like combo, like not quite combo training, but like do this.
Press up to jump.
Yeah.
So they have like general like here's how to play basics, and then they have 10 character trials. But if you put it up to a game like Guilty Gear or Skullgirls, or there's just so many games that like
they teach you what buttons do what, essentially.
Not
but they
even
don't teach
all
you-
of them.
Yeah,
It don't even teach you all of the special moves for the characters. Like it teaches you like 3 or 4 of them, and then you get into like a basic launcher combo, and then a basic tag combo, and then more advanced combos from there. But it doesn't do like. So Guilty Gear has an option where once you do the combo once, you have to hold start to go to the next combo, because maybe you want to practice it a couple more times, because like
Right.
you
Yeah.
try 30 times to do this one combo and you finally get it, and all of a sudden you're in the next combo.
Probably
It's
by
like,
accident
whoa,
or
no,
something like
wait
that.
a sec. Let me go back and like really get a
Yeah,
feel
like
for it.
you-
Do it 3 times
Yeah,
in a
you're not
row.
going to learn anything from that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, tutorial super lights. Yeah, just teaches you basic mechanics. Nothing about mind games. Nothing about the deeper elements of fighting games.
Do you
sure.
think that because there was some talk prior to release? I think we talked about some of the input simplification, like going down instead of that Dragon Punch motion for some of the Dragon Punch style moves. That was something that maybe would be used to try to draw in Marvel fans that might not otherwise play a fighting game. But
certainly could.
But when I play it, I go like, oh, that's like this is still a full on fighting game. Like you're going to be able to mash out some auto combo and stuff and do a few things, but it's not like you're going to get good at this game unless you really care about fighting games.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
It does not
it's not
feel
easy.
as
It's not-
user-friendly as it could be. Marvel inherently is one of the least user-friendly fighting games around, just by the nature of how intense the combos are. Like you really have to lab out some combos if you want to be even a little bit competitive.
Like we played a little bit, and it was my first exposure to the game, but we played a little bit on Friday, and it was just Jason just making me bounce around the screen. I was like, I can't get out of this. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I'm having a terrible time.
Some weird choices on the voices. Some of the how about this? Ashley Birch as Chun-Li.
Sure.
Why not?
I mean, it's some
not
of them
like-
are just like you. Some of the voices are just way different than they were in Marvel 3, and I understand, you can't always carry over. But in a game where there's only 6 new characters that weren't in Marvel 3, and only 4 of them were never in a Marvel game, it's you'd expect them to have a little more consistency.
I was about to say it's not like Chun-Li has some like established iconic voice actor, but actually it sounds like in Marvel, Capcom, she totally does.
I think it's Laura Bailey.
Okay.
She has been doing it forever.
That is weird then.
Yeah.
If that's
and
something
now they have
Marvel
like a
fans
deeper
are
story mode, so there's
expecting.
probably like more. Is the story mode spoken?
Yeah,
Okay.
and everyone kind of gets there. Like you get like just lots of random pairings of a Marvel and a Capcom character teaming up. Like Gamora and Strider are hanging out, and Strider's like introducing her to the big bad guy from the Strider games. And he's like, "That's the wizard that wants me dead," and she has like a wisecrack about him. So sometimes the voices work. Like I think Spider-Man's fine. He's kind of a key player. But then there's like characters like X, who is one of the key. So the main antagonists are Sigma and Ultron.
Right.
So the main protagonists, in a sense, are X and I don't know who Ultron's.
Who fights Ultron?
Who fights all?
I mean, everyone has to
Yeah,
at some
right?
point, right?
Yeah, he's just
yeah.
kind of like Iron Man. Is
Sure.
kind of a
Oh, yeah, I
protagonist.
guess- I guess
doesn't-
Iron Man is-
like Iron Man created him, right?
Maybe.
Isn't that, at least in the movie, in Avengers movie, he did.
But then like X will have almost no lines throughout the story, but he's the big like set climactic piece. Or sometimes the fights just aren't really well explained of why these two people are fighting. Like at one point you're fighting Thanos and then you win, and then the next he gets angrier and now you're controlling Thanos and you have to fight and you win.
Yeah.
But in the story he loses because he's the bad guy.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just some interest.
They
like-
try to give you time with like all the characters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for some.
Yeah,
For
I feel
some
like with the first couple of NetherRealm story modes that were in this type of format they hadn't quite gotten that right yet. In the case of like, oh well, we want you to play as all these characters, but also this character needs to lose for the story we've written to proceed. So it's you have a few strange things like that, but I think they've gotten better with that.
So, sidetrack. Speaking of that, have you guys seen that reveal trailer for Raiden in Justice?
No, I have not.
Oh man, his super. He like throws the guy up into the sky, does lightning hands at the moon. The Mortal Kombat logo, dragon logo appears on the moon,
All right.
and then comes off of the moon and eats the guy,
What?
and then slams him into the ground.
Okay.
Shit.
It's really fucking good.
I gotta see
Yeah.
that.
Raiden eats a guy?
No,
No,
the lightning
the Mortal
dragon.
Kombat
Okay.
logo.
The
dragon.
logo.
The logo eats somebody. That's even scarier.
Pretty good.
Yeah, but so Marvel's like, if you liked Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and you want to play more Marvel with kind of an honestly interesting take on the core mechanics of the game, this is totally that. It just at a lot of, unless you're just grinding out online matches and you're kind of really exploring what that game has to offer, it doesn't always feel like a $60 game. They've already announced their first season
yeah.
of DLC characters, so hopefully some additions to the roster. And they say what you will about Capcom's handling of Street Fighter V, they have very slowly been making good on a lot of things. They've
hit a good cadence with like adding new characters to the game,
And, like,
right?
the
I mean,
balancing
Kind of milestones here and there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, they've been a lot better.
So I think there is a future for this game to develop into more of a competent full package.
yeah.
But as far as like the competitive aspect goes, I think it's got legs. I can't wait to see
Yeah.
like real tournaments with it.
Luckily, I got to go to like a preview event last night at Folsom Street, and they had like Filipino champ and stuff, and a bunch of high level players. And watching that is pretty amazing. So yeah, I definitely think competition wise, that game has legs, and competitive players seem to really enjoy it. The netcode seems pretty good. I don't see it taking over like Street Fighter is the main like flagship competitive game or anything like that, but.
But no Marvel has ever been that, right?
It's come close. It's
Really?
Marvel
close.
2
was-
was but 2 was out and big at a time when Street Fighter was
Like
kind
Third
of
Strike,
not,
Third
so-
Strike had been going for a while.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
before Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was active for like 10 Evos in a row or
Yeah.
something.
But then again, I still don't see this being like I don't think it's really going to bridge the gap to like the casual audience or something like that. There's lots of hooks for them, and I think they'll have a good time maybe playing through story mode and seeing some of these characters.
A whole lot of Marvel fans out there these days.
Yeah.
And speaking of like Marvel stuff, like those are the only characters that I seem to like. Like this roster is kind of disappointing. Ben mentioned before that there's a lot of returning characters. There's very few new faces.
And I think the returning characters they picked from, I mean, granted, they're probably a lot more obliged to do what Marvel says in terms of which characters go in. And all that
And
stuff.
with the whole X-Men debacle.
Yeah,
You were talking about
rights
the
and stuff.
conspicuous lack of Wolverine.
Yeah, well, that's like when I think about Capcom's Marvel games.
Oh, yeah.
I think about
Magneto.
Like,
Storm.
I think about Magneto.
Yep.
No, I mean I think about Wolverine. I think about.
I for sure think about Magneto.
I mean, wasn't
he's like
definitely.
correct me if I'm wrong.
He is a
Wasn't
huge character.
Children of the Atom the first Marvel fighting game from
Yeah,
Capcom?
yeah,
So
yeah.
like it's all
Yes.
X-Men at the
Right,
core of
definitely.
this whole thing.
Yeah, that's where they started.
Sentinel.
With it. Like I was.
There's no Mango Sentinel in Marvel
No,
vs. Capcom
exactly.
Infinite.
I liked Cyclops.
Yeah.
I like Cyclops.
Yeah.
Even though he's like apparently like a dick or whatever.
I hate Cyclops,
Yeah.
but I love Cyclops.
As a fighting game character, I think Cyclops
And in the
has
X-Men arcade
been-
games, he was
yeah,
pretty good.
yes, yeah. It shoots lasers out of his fucking eyes.
Yeah, it's
that's
fucking cool.
That's pretty good.
Jeff, you're gonna like Cap a lot because he throws a shield now, but the shield comes back and hits him on the way.
Yeah,
back. He seems way more competent now.
Yeah,
And
It's fun.
Yeah, some of the they didn't exactly copy over the Marvel 3 characters. In a lot of regards, they have similar movesets, but then they have added things like
different properties. It's
they
not
gave
just the-
Hagar a projectile now. He can pick up a big
throws a
iron
fucking
barrel
barrel
and throw it. And I think part of it has to do with like, yes, let's keep the moves fresh, but then it's also really neat because one of the problems with Hagar is you needed a really good assist to help you get in because he doesn't have an air dash.
Right.
But now he has tools because there's no assist in this game anymore. So that for design wise, like just the design around the actual fighting is really good. I think Capcom really nailed it, but yeah, it's got some issues, and hopefully, I'm excited to see what these new DLC characters bring to it.
I mean, there's a monster hunter character. Come on.
I think
Come on.
they're called the Monster Hunter, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's
That's
female.
like kind of
Buffalo
depressing
Summer.
in a way because you're
Aw.
saying, well, no, not. I mean, they should bring in a monster hunter character.
Yeah, but shouldn't it be like a Rathalos or something like that?
They're
Yeah,
wearing
and
Rathalos
not-
armor.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, you're saying you have trouble seeing it as a $60 game, and now you're like, I'm excited to see what the DLC characters bring to it. Like,
Yeah.
Eventually they'll make it worth $60, but they're in a hole,
But at that point,
Yeah.
you'll have paid 90 or 120.
and you get these sweet eggs.
Well, maybe,
Dude,
the
that's all I have
Infinity
seen.
Eggs.
That is literally all I have seen about.
Yeah.
In terms of discussion of this game, is disappointment with the collector's edition.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go Google Marvel's Capcom Infinite Collector's Edition.
I got one of those, and I opened it up, and I'm like, oh.
You can't even take them out of the case.
Oh, really?
Those are just like Easter egg shells.
Yeah,
can't even
and they're
take
like, what,
them out
they're
of the
fucking glued
case.
into the case?
I showed it to my son, and he's like, oh, and he ran over and he got some of his Easter egg, things.
Yeah, for people that haven't seen it, the concept art looks like these nice translucent gems with lights underneath them that make them light up, and then the actual photo, it's
They look like Easter
They literally
eggs.
look like plastic Easter eggs.
They're gross.
It's
The figures
real-
are really cool though. They're huge. They're nice actually. But
Okay.
yeah, the eggs are stupid.
Yeah,
They're
that's
fucking gross.
Yeah. Well,
Speaking of gross, yeah, like the models and stuff do not look great. Ben touched on that. But
I
I think in
like
motion,
even with
I
the
still-
hard pass, like it's still.
Yeah.
I still can't stop thinking about that lanky Hagar model.
Yeah.
I like
that saw
Hagar.
on Friday. Like
He
his
looks
arms
great.
are too thin.
His
No,
neck is
no,
long.
He's
too
got
long.
there's too much there's either too much bulk in the torso or the legs or the arms are too
I'm
skinny.
with you on
There's
that.
not a good
Oh.
proportion of muscle mass.
Hagar
But like,
looks
if you think
great.
about like Hagar's always looked like kind of a lollipop or something.
Yeah.
Like his
He
legs
totally- you
always
look-
looked
the legs
strange. In
first
the original
final-
Final
legs
Fight,
fine.
his
Yeah.
legs
yeah,
look
the
ridiculous.
leg's fine, but the arms something.
Yeah.
when he's
about
like
that
doing his
model.
lariat or doing the hammer throw move, like it looks good. But when he's just standing there and talking at you in the story mode, you're like,
yeah,
this is
it's
the
bad.
most unfortunate looking man I've
He
ever
skips
seen.
arm day and leg day. It's all chest.
This is the mayor of Metro City. I've heard so much about.
It's not a great look for those characters in the story mode for sure. But in action, like I think the special effects are really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think animation's
The,
really good
the
too.
stone effects are really cool.
Yeah.
Like when you activate your stone super, the kind of background color changes and lights start flashing.
It's a spectacle for sure.
I just like that they shout out the name of the stone so I can just hit a button and make them all say Power Stone.
Power Stone.
Power Stone.
That's pretty good.
Overall, yeah.
Maybe the best thing.
Game's pretty rad. I'm having a lot of fun with it,
Yeah,
actually.
all
And I normally don't with Marvel games. They're not my jam. This is pretty cool, though. There's going to be that drop-off, though, where I'm going to hit a wall, like playing online, and I'm not going to have any fun with it because I can't put the lab time in.
Yeah.
Or it just
Lab.
at some point, like getting good at those games requires.
It does.
I know someone who
I feel like a level of
it's a full-time
dedication that
job.
even some like more so than some other fighting games. I would
Yeah.
even say,
I mean,
right?
it's more technical than Street Fighter. Street Fighter is more about like the spacing and in a neutral game.
It's
This
just like more frantic, like crazy.
It's just combos.
Like high level
Yeah.
MVC play has just always been the most baffling thing to me. Just
And
look
it's-
at it and go like,
but it's
God.
fun to watch.
Fucking love
Yeah,
it so
it's
much.
fun to watch. Yeah.
I know somebody that talks about spending time in their Dota lab.
Oh, really?
I guess is that just a thing now with,
Labbing it.
with competitive games?
Is
Just
that
having a lab
Is
where
it
you.
crispy?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
there we go. He plays Street Fighter as well. so-
Yeah, he totally does. I just
Yeah,
imagine
telling somebody to hit the lab is like
I just imagine
you need to practice.
I just
those
imagine somebody in there in a white coat with like Bunsen burners,
Yep.
like pouring beakers
There's a
into
lot
each
of
other.
there's a lot of science when it comes to
I
fighting.
gotta
games.
combine these chemicals to get a new combo and apply some heat. Well, all right, that sounds decent.
Yeah, I mean,
Sounds
I'm
like
gonna
a
put
better
some more time into
launch.
it.
It's
Sounds like a
better
better
than
launch
decent.
than Street
I
Fighter
think it's
Five.
pretty
Oh,
damn
for
good.
sure.
Yeah. Less of a flub,
Yes.
if not quite perfect. How's everybody's Destiny going?
I haven't played since last week.
Yeah, I mean, you're out of content, so you're done with Destiny, right? Reviews up, raids
know.
done.
I did the raid.
There's nothing left to
I
do.
went 7-0 in trials last night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's much.
you really?
left
And how many kills?
to
Did you,
do.
how
Did all right.
was your contribution to said team?
I would
Okay,
say 5% or so.
All right,
You had some ringers
I
in
don't
there?
even know what Trials is.
Trials of 9.
it's
So,
a,
okay,
it's a
so-
competitive multiplayer
yeah.
thing that's like
It's
you-
descended from Trials of Osiris in the first game, but it's not quite as rough as that one because that one, I can't remember if it was 7 or 10 wins, but
I think it was anyway.
anyway, it's a super hardcore competitive mode
Okay.
where you can't drop games without taking a penalty. So I
Oh.
think in the first game you had to go the full streak without a loss or you got nothing. I could be wrong about that. Like everything else in Destiny 2, they've made it a little more friendly because you can earn some rep tokens for every win
Yeah.
and doing challenges now, so you don't have to get the streak. You get way more stuff if you do get the streak.
But it's still like, what is it? You play 10 matches, you have to win 7.
yeah. If you
Okay.
yeah, so out of 10 matches, if you, on your third loss, you start your card over.
Okay.
I enlisted some very talented Crucible players, and they carried me to a 7-0.
All right.
Nice.
And then I got to see the cool social space and get a ton of loot.
So
And then our clan got some loot out
yeah,
of that.
that's
Oh, I can't wait
is-
to check in and get all this
which
clan
is-
but
loot.
we're not sure. The weekly reset happened, so hopefully the
Yeah.
Oh,
I got-
loot
fuck.
carries over.
I got my win about 11 o'clock last night, with 3 hours before the weekly reset. So
Yeah,
I think
man.
I saw people in the clan talking about getting an Ingram this morning. So I think
Okay.
it's probably still there.
All right, good.
Um,
Because I'm never going to do that. I tried to do it with some folks from the clan we are
yeah,
in.
so did I.
And we played we played 3 matches, got just fucking annihilated.
Dude, people
and
are so good in there.
and I don't like the competitive multiplayer in that
yeah,
game.
it's
I
not-
didn't like it
yeah.
in Destiny 1 very much either.
Yeah, I
and
played it.
here. It's just the map design, I've seen a lot of complaints, and I was talking to you about it yesterday. Like reading the complaints made me realize, like, oh, that's the actual issue here. Is that player damage and stuff like that in that game is such that like it really becomes a game of, especially in the trials, of you need to all stick together because you have to focus fire on enemies one at a time to drop them all. Otherwise,
Oh, you mean team shots?
yeah, exactly.
So I started learning all the high level Crucible lingo
and
last
so
night.
otherwise, like, you know, running around the low level competitive and just like fuck it, we're shooting and
it
I'm
is
playing
a
kill confirmed
very
or whatever they
different
call
game.
it, and that's just like, okay, we're running around on our own.
Yeah.
But most of the encounters between two evenly skilled players are the two of you run up to each other, you start shooting, and both of you die.
Yeah.
So speaking of labbing and jargon and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I was introduced to the concept of pre-firing last night, which is that if you fucking
see a doctor.
if you see if you see red on the radar at all, if you know somebody's there, just start shooting at the corner, because odds are you will catch them with the first shot
And
coming
if you
around
get
the
them with
corner
the first shot, that's the
before
difference.
you even
Yep.
saw them, and then
Yep.
you'll be one
Yeah.
shot up on them, and you will take them down before
That's
they
terrible.
before they get you.
I think that's bad
It's
design.
hilarious.
I don't think that's like that's not a fun way to play a shooter.
You know, I mean that's a consequence.
Yeah,
of
but then it becomes a mind game of like,
No.
if you know about pre-firing, then man, you just
totally
like
did. It totally
you
did.
juke them,
Yeah, these guys knew what
or
they
you
were
teleport.
doing. Hey man, I got 4 trials guns out of it. That's all I know.
All right, yeah.
And they look like Mass Effect guns, so I'm happy.
Well, okay then.
Oh, you mean the greatest video game of the last?
No,
10
Mass
years?
Effect 2.
No, they look like Mass Effect 3 guns.
So like the
Sorry.
4th
Bummer.
best video game of all time.
Yeah, sorry.
Uh,
Fuck, dude.
You played the. I mean, I don't think we need to get into it.
The raid took 15 hours all told over the course of 3 days,
and it sounds like that thing's got some issues.
It has got some issues. It's most of that raid is super cool. The setting is wild. Like I don't know how much you guys have seen of it.
Sounds
like
great,
the outside gates.
It's basically you saw that stuff. It's basically like a fucking floating Roman bacchanal. It's like this pleasure palace. Like there are ceremonial baths and hunting grounds, and like the boss is just this fat emperor like slashing on a throne, like slurping out of a goblet.
It's really different.
Like just
than
this
the other
gilded. Yeah, it's
areas.
cool.
Okay.
It's really neat. And most of the encounters, it is complex as hell. It's almost all about mechanics. It's almost all about puzzle solving. There's only one boss in the raid. All the rest of it is just crazy, like puzzle encounters.
Do you think that some of that is like, okay, well, instead of making it about being able to focus damage,
put out
and all
damage,
this other stuff,
yeah,
just,
there's
just
only-
like raw DPS. It's like, okay, if you hit 260, you can probably get through this.
Yeah, basically. There are 2 sections like that, or there are 2 like DPS checks like that in the raid. Yeah, and one of them is the boss. 2 of the encounters, so that there's basically 5 encounters, and 2 of them are very bad.
Okay.
Or have very bad problems, let's say.
Like elements of randomness.
One of them is a stealth encounter, and the other one, so I guess it's okay to say this. We're going to try to stream this thing.
Yeah, we're going to try to stream this thing.
And I'm not going to tell you guys how to do it.
Yeah.
Some people are still trying to get geared up for it on staff.
I probably need like 10, 15 more light.
What are you at?
260.
Yeah, you could use a little more for sure.
249.
You
Hey,
can always
guys.
use
almost
a
there.
little more.
See, you're almost there.
Did you see that?
You're almost there.
That
Well,
look,
it's
I get that all the
260
time.
is a hard
God damn it.
limit. Like they say,
I know.
be 260 to go in there.
And then 265 is kind of the part where, like, once you get 265, it gets a little bit tougher to level up.
Yeah.
What I've read.
Yeah, one of the bad encounters is a stealth encounter. You can kind of get a feel for it's wonky stealth. It's a game that's not built for stealth.
I mean, they had that
it's
in the first raid, right?
it's
The Vault of
similar-
Glass had a stealth
It's
thing.
similar to the Gorgon Maze from Vault of Glass, except there's also like a kind of complicated kill component to it.
Okay.
It's sort of tough, but like you can get a handle on that one. It's not completely not doable.
Yeah.
But the boss has got such randomness to it, and I saw like all kinds of people that I know and just everybody was complaining about this thing over the weekend. Like we figured the mechanics out on that one in 45 minutes, and it still took us over 4 hours to beat.
Yeah.
Because things can go bad in a way that's like just slightly out of your control.
Do you think it's something that needs patching? Do you think it's something they'll correct?
Yes, I think so. It's got like physics issues. Like they're
Okay.
making you they're exerting forces on your character that the game doesn't seem necessarily super built to handle.
Yeah.
Like pulling your player toward stuff and like the way you hit,
that's
the way
kinda-
you hit geometry and what happens to you that can force you to wipe off of that. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like stuff that feels like it's just not quite dialed in.
Yeah.
To the point that like I feel like if you know how a thing works and you can execute on it perfectly, you should be able to beat it, right? Like that's basically how it was
Yeah.
in
That's
like when we did Vault of Glass, remember,
Right.
like once we got
I don't
that
want to
last-
invest 15 hours to something that's going to be random.
Well,
yeah. It feels like
Yes,
you are
yes.
skilling up.
Yes,
as you
100%.
invest the time, you are dialing in your run.
Like
you are
remember
getting better.
every time we would wipe on that Vault of Glass boss, it was because somebody screwed something up.
Right.
And here it almost feels more like it's being done to you rather than you. I mean, there's definitely plenty of room for player error,
Sure.
but some things can happen to you that feel like just a little bit out of bounds.
That's
which is
disappointing.
super frustrating. I got one Matt Kessler sent me a message last night, just after I finished my trials run, saying, "Hey, we just lost a guy in our raid group. Can you come help us beat the boss?" And even having beaten it, I tried for over an hour to help them beat it, and we kept running into those problems.
Yeah.
And they finally gave up. We all gave up. Like it just needs a little bit of work.
That's frustrating.
Because that boss fight visually is amazing. It's got a really cool moment in it that happens over the course of it. Like like just conceptually, it's all super cool, but like the mechanics are way too frustrating right now.
But that stuff just becomes unbearable. Like that moment after the like 8th time you see it.
Yeah.
And they had gotten as close as you can get to beating that thing without beating it, and had failed the very last literally 10 seconds of the fight right before I got there, and I just can't imagine how demoralized they were feeling. It's still worth doing. I'm hoping that they'll clean it up over time.
Yeah.
So the reset happened last night. The raid works on like a hub system. Like the entryway leads into a hub, and all the encounters kind of spoke off of that. And it looks like they're changing the order of the encounters every week.
Oh,
so the way you do stuff this week is not going to be what we did last week, which is
Interesting.
kind of a neat touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I started realizing, so I barely played any Destiny over the last week.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, because I knew that we were going to stream the raid eventually.
Yeah.
So like I'm 278 or 9 or whatever,
Totally fine
and
to go there.
so at that point I'm like, well, there's really nothing else I can do except for maybe I could group up and do the Nightfall, but like whatever. I just don't care. Like I want to do the Rat King stuff, but whatever.
Well, it is it is worth doing those powerful gear milestones every week.
Yeah, I know, but
that's gonna
I
get
didn't have the time
Or
to
if you're-
like find a Nightfall group for the clan.
Or
just
if you're
like,
happy at your power level, it's not a big deal.
And the other thing I realized is like, like I started another character and it really puts into sharp contrast that like all this gear is meaningless and they'll put out another expansion that raises the number again.
Yeah, but
and
that's every loot game. Like
so I want to see the content. Like
Yeah.
for me, it's no longer about the number. It's like I want to see the raid because I have liked the 2 raids I've done.
Yeah.
And I would like to see another one.
Yeah.
And
there is some extremely cool stuff in that raid.
Yeah, and I suspect like once I finish that, I will probably stop playing that game completely until they put out more content.
That's fair.
And that's the style of game I think it really is.
Yeah.
Because I just don't care about the competitive. Like some people will probably bridge the gap with that stuff, but nope.
Yeah. Yeah, I made the point in the review I put up yesterday. Like, you're going to run out of content just like any other loot game.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to come away from it feeling a lot more satisfied.
I think even having not done the raid,
in the first
I
game.
feel way more satisfied with this game than I did with probably any part of Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Just even when they started adding content on to it and fixing it.
Yeah.
I still came away from it going like, that felt like I got the amount of money one would spend on a game that feels like that amount of content.
Yeah.
And then some. Good. I'll put it away.
Yeah.
I'll do the raid and stop until they come out with something else and then maybe get back into it. Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Also, all the in-game activities in this game are insanely more rewarding than they were in the first game.
Well, the game's way
Like,
easier.
Well,
Like,
not just that, but I'm talking about like the amount of loot you get out of any one thing.
Yeah.
Like I probably got 4 items, maybe 5 items coming out of the raid.
That's great.
And I did multiple Vault of Glass runs in the first game and got nothing.
Right.
Like it's so much more generous with that stuff.
So those items keepers though?
All the stuff I've gotten, like
did
all
you
the
eat them?
No, I mean I'm keeping them because they look amazing. Like all the raid gear, like the raid is like all gilded. It's like, it looks like it's made out of like ivory and gold. It's all just opulent shit.
That's cool.
But it doesn't really have any unique perks on it. It's just like nice,
really?
nice high level stuff. Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know. There seem to be people that would get on that loop of like, well, we need to run the raid every week because I need to get this drop, and now I need to get this drop.
Yeah.
So making it easier, that's a good thing. It also probably inspires some of those people to play it a little less, which is either good or bad. I don't know. But yeah, I like what they've done with the game. Also, it seems like by making it friendlier or just turning up the drop rates or whatever, it's something that you're probably likely to spend slightly less time with.
somebody I know who will remain nameless is like kind of upset that there aren't more like prestige, like show off aspects to this game. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Like there are things that he wants it to be very visible on his character that like, hey, I put more work into this game than you did.
Yeah, of course.
And there's way less of that now.
Yeah.
Like you guys, everybody in our clan got a piece of raid gear because we finished the raid.
Right.
So like
Thank you.
sure, yeah.
It drops at 10 though, so you have to infuse something into it,
Awesome.
which I did. But it's,
Welcome.
It's still.
What's up with Zer?
He's kind of bad so
Really?
far. Yeah, he had a very limited inventory, and it was all
Yeah.
stuff that people had. It's
I didn't
really-
have the gun.
Yeah, Merciless, the fusion rifle he had was super worth buying.
Okay.
Um,
How
but
many shards was it?
Cheap.
Okay.
Way
20
cheaper than expected. Like
Oh, cool.
low
29.
20, low to high 20s.
Yeah, that's right.
Good to hear.
And we all had like 150 or more. You could
Yeah.
have bought.
Yeah, I
You
had
could
at least 100.
easily have bought everything he had. Hopefully that stuff gets better. His inventory was his whole
Or they
thing
they'll
was
just rotate it
pretty
and-
underwhelming.
And
Yeah.
I wonder. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In game way friendlier, mostly way more accessible,
Mm.
with the exception of those raid things, which I can't wait for you guys to see.
Oof. Yeah.
We had to fight Dan yesterday to make him not do the raid on his own time.
Yeah. I was like, that's the whole. Because I was pissed because like I had turned down multiple groups of people that wanted to do the raid over the weekend because we were going to stream it. And he was like, "No, I'm just going to stream it. Like, I'm just going to play it." Like, no, Dan, fucking.
I mean, I get it. I get him.
Yeah.
He's really into Destiny 2, and I get
it's-
why he wants to do it as soon as possible. But,
Yeah. But,
Guys, be careful. He's our clan leader.
oh gosh, I didn't think about that.
He might kick us out.
Brad's an admin. He can just kick everybody else
Oh,
out.
sweet.
It's
Can you
true.
kick Dan out?
No, probably not.
No, he's the founder. I don't think so.
All right.
Also,
What if
he-
you take his face off
he doesn't-
and wear it?
Oh man,
Then you're
Probably
him.
do it. Then probably do it.
it's like looking in a mirror, except not.
I've been playing Heat Signature.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
what's that about?
It is the next game from the maker of Gunpoint.
Okay.
Tom Francis.
Francis,
Tom
yeah.
Francis. Yeah.
and it is a procedurally generated kind of stealth hijacking game. It's a top-down thing, like it's a scalable Hotline Miami in a way, where you can kind of zoom it way out, zoom it way in. But everything generally, when you're playing at the default setting, everything's significantly smaller on screen. So the guards, the individual rooms, not as big as something like Hotline Miami. And so you are starting out at a space station, taking on odd jobs to kind of liberate the galaxy, and all those jobs are go to a spaceship and do a thing. So it's you flying to a moving spaceship, docking onto its airlock,
like
sneaking
manually
onto the ship.
Oh,
yeah,
man, that sounds cool.
They'll eventually get upgrades that you just teleport right to the airlock, which is kind of fun, like a fun upgrade also. And that's about where I'm at. I only played a few hours of it. It seems like there's kind of a lot of stuff to eventually unlock. And so you get into this airlock and you take a loadout with you, so you can have non-lethal or lethal weapons. You'll have missions that'll have parameters like don't kill anybody or leave no witnesses. And the things you do when you get there are relatively samey. Like it is procedurally generated, and you see that pretty early on.
Is it an action game? Like is it real-time combat?
But you can pause it at any time. So you hit the space bar, it'll pause the game, and you can line up a shot and take it, and that will start time again. And then also if you're like holding down, like if you have a wrench or a hammer or something, as soon as you hold down the button for that, all time slows down. So you can really kind of line up. You kind of just need to put the icon on the guy, and they like the melee range is like 8 meters or something. So you just go whoosh over there and kill a guy. But sometimes enemies will have armor, and so you'll have to figure out like, okay, I need an armor-piercing sword, which is a higher level item than I have access to. So do I need to throw a grenade at this guy? Do I need to just run and try to avoid him, which is possible but not super easy to do? And so you're kind of working your way through these ships and stealing something or killing a certain person or capturing a person and bringing them back to your ship or whatever. Generally, I just kill everyone on board the ship and then fly the whole ship back to my base because you get a little bonus money for the stuff that's on that ship when you do that. And also it just means that kind of every mission ends up being sort of similar at that point. Because
you like blow the ship up instead if you wanted to?
No.
Just, I don't strip copper wiring from it.
Yeah, you can blow up individual rooms and stuff. Like there'll be like a tank in a room that if you shoot it, and that you can use that to cause lethal damage to anything in the room, which is good for these armored guys. There are windows that you can shoot out and suck people out into space. Wow. You can get sucked out into space and survive. So it'll start a timer of like you have 30 seconds of oxygen.
Okay.
And then you need to remote control your little cruiser.
Wow.
Like detach from the ship and go pick yourself up and then land back on the ship and fucking do it again.
That sounds cool.
But then there's also kind of a permadeath or capture aspect to it where there'll be an alarm. Like if you notify guards on a ship, an alarm will start ticking down, and you'll automatically get a character captured if you're on that ship when time expires.
Do you have multiple characters?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that character can get captured. You will go back and start anew with a fresh character,
but
and then theoretically, no
progress at all.
You don't retain the progress. The universe state is the same. So any stations you liberated, which is how you unlock perks, that stuff stays.
Yeah.
But your individual character does not keep loot, money, any of that other stuff. Yeah. But then they may have a mission to go rescue your captured pilot.
Wow.
Or you might get a mission to rescue one of your Steam friends' pilots who's been captured.
Man, this sounds fucking cool.
Yeah.
I never got into Gunpoint, but this sounds kind of fascinating.
Gunpoint's great. This is a very different game than Gunpoint. It doesn't necessarily feel, it's not, it's a very different angle, all that other stuff. And there are some aspects of it that I think are maybe a little clunky so far. There are stuff that I'm just not good at, like dealing with turrets or dealing with armored enemies. They'll be like, I'm just now getting the gear.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you get the impression that there's like gear or perks that'll help you deal with these things?
It's more gear than it doesn't really seem like there's more of much of a perk system. So when you're unlocking things by liberating different parts of the galaxy, you're unlocking it for sale in the store.
Oh, okay.
But you still have to earn enough money to get there. So I'd reached a point with one character that had stayed alive a really long time where all the missions I had involved turrets, which are things you either have to blow up or hack. And it seems like I need to actually spend some more time with turrets because there was a little tooltip that said you can just walk up to them and turn them off. But I tried that and it didn't work. So maybe I was just doing something wrong. But I just didn't have a good way to deal with turrets or armored guards. And I didn't have any items in the shops that I could buy.
You don't have like armor-piercing ammo or something?
They do have. There'll be guns that shoot, through armor. So at that point, you just take them out. Yeah. But none of that stuff was in the store. So it was like, okay, the 3 missions I can take on all require me to have gear I can't get. And so it was a weird wall that I solved by just picking a different character and taking on some different missions, because that character was getting lower level missions that I could still complete. They have some kind of preset or preset loadout missions called defector missions, where you'll like take on the role of a character who is not your character and have to complete one specific task. The ship is still randomized, but it's still like, okay, you will have a sword and this at the start of this mission. Go in and do this with this type of enemy loadout. And it's very engaging. Like it propels you through it. Like I want to keep playing it, even though like I'm finding some aspects of it a little clunky, and I'm still kind of like figuring out again like how am I getting this gear. It seems like maybe I'm just not looting ships enough because I'm flying them back and selling everything on it automatically. That maybe if I just stayed on the ship and opened chests, they'd be like, oh hey, here's the teleporter you need to. Oh man, there's a fucking teleporter in that game. Well, it's okay. So it's a teleport trap. So you set it on the ground, and anyone who walks into it gets teleported to a location you set.
Oh,
and you can set it
where
to
this
space.
is going.
You can fucking
airlock?
set it
Yeah.
to space,
Oh,
and
that's really good.
like anyone steps on that, and then there's ones that like will recharge. So it'll be down for a few seconds and then pop again and be ready to fucking get
Can
somebody
you step
else.
on them?
You can walk through them. Yeah, it's not a problem. So you walk out, so they see you. And then they go, what the fuck? And they start heading in your direction, and then they just fucking teleport to space.
And then they're not in the ship anymore.
Die.
Man, that sounds cool.
There are cases where you need to, I had to assassinate a guy, and I knocked him out, and it was hard to just kill him at that point once he was not like standing up and walking around. So I ended up walking the character over to a window and just shooting the window and sucking him out into space, and then you just see a timer, like oxygen timer for that character tick down, like, okay, mission accomplished.
Does it feel, it almost sounds like kind of a sandbox, like
a little bit,
like just a lot of tools and you can kind of experiment?
A little bit. They've got a good practice setting where you can kind of like take your loadout through a bunch of ships with no consequences, and it'll just auto-generate rooms for you to try. So you can kind of get good with the tools you have, and the different tools definitely like change the way you play. And there's still stuff I'm finding, like as I play through the game, you're unlocking more types of stuff. Like I haven't really spent a lot of time with explosives, but yeah, you can just like whole rooms of the ship can get blown up in a way that you can't walk through them anymore. And yeah, there's kind of a lot to it in some ways, and kind of not a lot to it in others, where the mission objectives and stuff like that seem very samey so far. So that's the one thing I kind of hope would open up a little bit more later on, in terms of just raw objectives of capture a thing, kill a thing, do it, that all kind of boil down to shoot something or carry a thing back to your ship, more or less.
Do you have like an ultimate goal you're working toward?
You're liberating the whole galaxy
from
the.
That's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of different stations and that's
The galaxy's really big.
Yeah.
Is there just some like ultimate flagship that you have to take down or something?
I don't know. I think you're just kind of just freeing the system, and every character will have a personal mission goal that'll be like, oh, I need to assassinate this character and it'll have a little bit of story. Like the writing, even though a lot of it is item descriptions and stuff like that, like it's good. And so it seems like smaller stories with each character that help you kind of deal with the concept of like, oh, well, you retire characters actually ultimately. Like your character will, if it lives long enough, it starts filling up your leveling bar slower. Which the liberation of a station is just you clicking a button and getting that perk. It's not a mission. But every time you fill this experience meter, this liberation meter, basically, you can pick one more station off the list. And so as a character gets famous, the bar fills slower. It's like, oh, you're only getting 67% out of these missions anymore because people expect you to complete these missions.
That's interesting.
Because you're so famous. And then there's a spot in the station you can just walk into and retire. So then you get a fresh character, and your character, like I think you can have like 4 characters at a time. So if you've got one that's like just not doing it for you anymore, just retire them, start a new one. Or if you've completed that personal mission, you're like, okay, I've done all I want to do with this character. You can kind of move forward that way. It's neat. We'll post a video this week. It's out on Thursday.
Yeah,
I think.
Sounds really interesting.
It's fascinating, but it leaves a lot of it up to your imagination. I think in some ways, like the writing is really good, but it is fairly like, here's the state of the world, and not necessarily a story carved through the world. That's kind of left to you.
That kind of reminds me of something like FTL, sort of.
A little bit.
It's like every jump point has like one paragraph, and that's enough to kind of like get your imagination going.
It works. That stuff works well, and the items are fun so far. So yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at it this week. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, I always felt like I was remiss skipping Gunpoint. I feel like I should.
You should
keep
totally
up with what that dude is doing.
I am pretty sure that I am going to go back and play Gunpoint again, like because I spent some time last night watching some video of Gunpoint and remembering like, oh man, this game is so fucking good.
This game's like about setting up traps and stuff, right? Or
yeah, a little bit,
something like that.
You have some options. Anyway, Heat Signature is a neat game.
Cool.
It's out on Thursday.
Excellent.
2 for 2 on good names for video games.
Yes.
Gunpoint and Heat Signature.
Both, and like kind of, I don't want to say obvious in retrospect, but like they just seem so simple when you hear them.
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't anybody use that before?
Right.
Yeah. All right, cool. Video games are decent lately.
Yeah.
It seems.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break and come back and talk about some more of them.
Building a website's way easier than it used to be.
Yeah, how so?
You can use templates.
What is that?
Beautiful award-winning templates. That's the Squarespace way.
Hmm.
That's right. You can organize your content with their templates, all with the click of a mouse. No Hot Dog Pro, no HTML
Dreamweaver?
learning. No, you don't even need to weave any dreams. Squarespace.
But the internet is made out of dreams.
Squarespace has pre-woven your dreams
Oh,
for you.
okay. Just tell me what to think and do and click.
No, that's the thing. You think whatever you want.
Oh, that's my job?
Yes. And then they make it easy for you to translate those ideas into a website.
Thinking is hard.
Well, that's the idea is always the hardest part. Squarespace just comes in at the end and makes it easy for you to translate said idea.
They let you execute.
Exactly. It's time to execute and customize everything from look and feel, settings, products. You can use analytics to help you grow in real time.
You mean data?
Real-time growth.
I love data.
Yeah. Look at this data. It's getting huge.
All these numbers and graphs.
Uh-huh. Up and to the right. Hockey sticking over here. Everything's optimized for mobile right out of the box, so all those people that are shifting from using computers to using phones, you'll be ready.
The phone is like a computer in your pocket.
That's right. A computer that's with you all the time.
Ugh.
Watching.
Gross.
Waiting.
Listening.
Over 200 extensions are there for you to choose from to help you customize your site. And they've got a new way to buy domains. There's nothing to install, patch, upgrade, ever. But if you do have a question, they've got 24/7 customer support that's there to help you. A dream is just a great idea that doesn't have a website yet.
Wow.
Yeah, did you know that?
That's pretty good.
Make that dream a reality with Squarespace.
I don't know who came up with that, but good job.
They deserve everything that they are getting and more.
Aspirational and inspirational.
Definitely. You can head over to squarespace.com for your free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST, and that'll save you 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com, and the offer code is BOMBCAST.
Jeff, you also played some Forza Motorsport 7.
It's true. I did.
I watched you play.
They got cars in this one.
I watched you play Forza Motorsport 7.
Yeah.
And inferred
Mm-hmm.
that it is still a driving game.
I can report exclusively here today, now,
Good.
as of this morning.
Play the breaking news theme.
Hot off the presses.
This is Forza Motorsport 7 to have cars, tracks,
Cars, common
drivers.
tracks. Oh man, they've got an in-cockpit mode that removes the steering wheel. I thought that was a nice little touch for people who have racing wheels and don't want to see another wheel in the game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They want to sit in front of the screen and feel like their wheel is the wheel.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's why you buy a racing wheel.
I mean they said that was a very often requested feature.
Yeah, I bet. I wish I had something like amazing or profound to say about Forza Motorsport 7.
Yeah.
They've been making pretty good driving games for a lot of years now.
Yeah.
How does the track look when it's wet?
Good.
Best part of the game.
Like that's one of the things they said back in E3 was like, hey, all around curves the water will pool up in a realistic way, and that'll affect traction in a realistic way. Like
fucking really good looking game.
Yeah, they had it running on Xbox One X's there at the thing we went to, and
The good kind, the dev kit with a little screen.
with little buttons on it. What do the fucking buttons even do?
I don't know. I think they might be programmable. I think that whole screen is programmable. I think the whole point is that developers can just make it spit out whatever
Ooh.
telemetry that they want.
People are gonna get up to some mischief with that.
Yeah,
That's right.
they're gonna run Doom on that thing.
Yeah. Some developer. Oh,
I hope.
Good.
Did you see their fucking Unreal Engine videos on YouTube?
No.
Somebody, it's basically an Unreal Engine demo where there is a cell phone on a table running Doom.
Oh.
And it's running actual Doom,
Okay.
like the code of Doom is running
Yeah.
within the Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
Like you can walk up to this phone and play Doom on it in the game world.
Good. Great.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Forza looks very nice. There's some stuff in and around the menus about, kind of card packs and mods and stuff like that.
Sure, it's a game in 2017.
Yeah. And they've done similar stuff in the
Everything
past,
has
too.
loot and consumables now.
Yeah.
As a consumer, I love consumables.
I love to
Yeah,
consume.
you love to consume. So they're going to let you consume inside your consumable.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, it's they've made another Forza game.
Yeah, a very good looking
I think it looks
Forza
fantastic.
game that runs at 4K.
They've had the past 2 Forza games have run at 4K on PCs. So I was looking at it and go like, this looks very nice.
Sure.
But also Forza Horizon 3 ran on the PC and looked very great there too.
Yeah.
And then that Forza Apex thing was their first kind of foray into the PCs. They've had some time to make an already great looking Xbox game, run at higher resolutions and stuff like that. So
what is that desert track they keep showing off? Is that Dubai?
I don't know.
Like whatever it is,
I
they're
wish
using,
I knew.
They're using a bunch of photogrammetry stuff, kind of like Star Wars Battlefront did.
Right.
That shit looks so crazy.
Yeah, it's a great looking driving game.
Pushing
it plays like
pushing
Forza,
like straight up photorealism.
Racing line.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a driving game.
it's that type of driving game. No Toyotas in it, I guess, because of reasons. I don't know. The Toyota's not in Need for Speed this year either.
Oh, weird.
So it seems like they are.
They're making their own racing.
Yeah,
game.
they're making their own.
Toyota's gonna start making
Toyota
games.
Adventure Racing.
Camerathon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they saw Porsche getting money and thought, we could do that. I don't think they can, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to spending some more time with it. But I feel like Horizon has kind of become the Forza game for me in a lot of ways because
did Horizon pull a Treyarch?
a little bit.
Like
I think so.
The B series became the A series.
It depends on what you're looking for, right? Sure. I mean, like people that are more serious about racing sims than I will ever be are motorsport players.
Yeah,
they probably play both, but they're going to be the people that are going to get the most out of this game that is duplicating real tracks and all this other stuff. Whereas like I look at it and go like, oh, I think I've been on this track before. What's it called? Road America. I don't know.
Rainbow
Road
Road.
America's in there, right? Yes, Rainbow Road. So the Nürburgring is in there. I drove on that for a while. Yeah. But I just don't have the love of real racing to really identify with the real courses. I just want the tracks to be good.
Do they have Infineon?
I think so.
Oh, cool.
I think they do. Yeah.
I'll identify with that one.
Yeah. I haven't been there in years, so it's just like I don't know. It's another track. What's the one from pole position? Suzuka. Is that in there?
What's your favorite concession
What?
at Infineon?
I don't really remember much of their
What's the lineup?
offerings.
Standard nachos.
Probably like a hot dog.
funnel
Probably
cakes,
depends on what
maybe-
event is there.
Maybe a funnel cake.
Yeah.
If it's a NASCAR event, it's probably just going to be light beer.
That's right.
Which, as a 9-year-old, I was only drinking IPAs back then. So.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, you got to have standards.
Yeah.
I ate so many hot dogs this weekend. It's just a side note. I was in Chicago, ate a lot of hot dogs.
Oh.
Real good stuff.
I hear good things about their hot dogs.
I got a corn dog from the Safeway, so I'm with you.
Yeah, I had a corn dog too at a festival.
Great.
Oh, it's best of both worlds: hot dog and corn dog.
It's right there. Yes, Forza looks great. It's hard to get excited about it as someone who doesn't like have an affinity for actual racing.
Yeah.
Other than like it's really good. They keep making them. I keep wanting to play them, but Horizon, at least like, and I think I felt the same way maybe about Horizon 3 a little bit too this year or this cycle, where it's like, oh, this is still a really good game. Like the roots of Forza are still here. The driving feels fantastic. And the open world, this is a better open world than I think 2 had, but at the same time, Horizon 3 is still like, now race a train, and like all that stuff is the same as it has been in the previous Horizon games. Yeah. And I don't know what you do there, because on one hand, it's tempting for me to say like, man, they really need to change Forza Motorsport up, but no, like they're striving for a real thing, like they're just getting better in ways that I'm not equipped to notice in a lot of cases. So I just look at it and go like, yep, all right, still good.
Still some good looking
Nice.
cars.
So yeah.
All right. Good to know. Ben.
Yeah.
So Tooth and Tail.
Tooth and Tail is
cool.
a RTS
Sure.
video game.
Yeah.
RT, yes.
It's a console first RTS.
Yeah.
Which, man, it works. It works. It's weird. So you
Herzog Zwei worked the same.
This is from the creators of Monaco, by the way.
Oh, is
Okay.
it?
Remember that game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game was super cool.
Yeah.
The
I
scene's
mean,
cool. I played the first mission, which is 5 minutes long. I barely had a chance to look at it.
By
Yeah.
console first, do you mean like it's kind of simplified as far as
Yes.
controls?
The
Yes.
cursor,
So-
the cursor is a character.
yes, you
Awesome.
you control with the stick or WASD your kind of main character. There's 4 different factions, and each faction has their own like main leader. It's set in kind of a revolutionary Eastern European
Yeah.
vibe,
It's
but
got a-
with like
All
rodents.
all animal. It's got kind of an Animal Farm vibe to it.
Yeah.
A lot of revolutionary imagery and stuff.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty like dark. A lot of it is very realistic. But yeah, so you control your character, and basically you get mills, which you can build farms around, and those will kind of produce your food, which is the only currency or resource in the game. And as food grows, you can build like hovels, and hovels will automatically generate units. And so you'll have like 4 different unit types you're working with on the map, and they'll be like a ranged guy, a guy with like a mortar who's good against buildings, a melee guy, and something else. And so you're building these farms, which generate food, which you use to build more farms in the hovels. And the hovels will start automatically generating units. And then you use the triggers to rally your units around you, and you can either rally all units around you, or you can rally
All units?
all units around you, or you can get all of a certain type. So you can have like, your mortar people attack this one
Okay.
area.
That was the thing I mean, it was the first mission, but I didn't see a way to sort of split
Yeah.
forces and
So
switch
you
stuff
like
off.
you use the D-pad to select which group of
Okay.
units you want to command with the
Okay.
like certain, but
Yeah.
then you can and so another thing that's cool for the most part about it is all these single player campaign maps are randomly generated. Like it's the same. They'll be the same objectives every time. Like take out 4 of these barracks and kill this named unit or whatever. But you'll start on a different position. The layout will be different. So like the first time I lost, I was like loading back in. I was like, okay, I got to run south and do this thing first, but I was in a completely different part of the map. I have seen some people complain that it puts you in somewhat unwinnable positions sometimes. Like you'll be sandwiched between 2 enemies and you just won't have the
don't have time
resources.
to-
yeah.
yeah.
But that hasn't happened to me yet. I got into this about partially into the second faction. So I have much more to play. And the multiplayer seems cool. You choose your faction, and then you choose 4 of 16 possible units to build from, and you carry those. Like you go back and forth, and then you carry those into the match. And they each, have different strengths and weaknesses, and food requirements, and build times and stuff like that. So you kind of have to build a competent team around or like defenses too, like barbed wire or mortars or something like that. But it works. It totally works with a controller. I was playing on the PC, but I was using a controller.
It's got a really cool look to it.
Yeah, nice,
Sprite
nice
based,
pixel art.
animated really well.
but some depth to it.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
music. Very
It's fitting of the
like
tone.
just like swelling, orchestral, oppressive.
Yes.
Russian.
Sounds very Soviet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, we're gonna do a video on that.
Yeah,
soon.
I see a lot of people saying good stuff about it. I want to play more of that.
It's cool.
It's neat for sure. Jason,
Hi.
did you poke at that new Dishonored any?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah?
Actually, yeah.
We played it, fired it up on UPF for half an hour.
I made it a little ways past that.
Yeah.
Definitely found different ways of like completing that mission, which was super cool. So this is, I thought it was a prequel for whatever reason. And
No,
think
I read it's like set
directly after.
Oh, is it directly? I thought it was like several years after.
It
two
might
or
be.
something. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they don't set that up extremely well. They just kind of set up with Billy Lurch, who is a character in Dishonored 2, going to find her mentor, Dowd, who's featured prominently in the previous game. But she gets supernatural powers given to her, well, kind of forced upon her by the outsider. In the previous games, you had the choice of whether or not you wanted to go down that road.
Yeah, because they have like different skill paths, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So she ends up getting supernatural powers as well, and hers are a little bit different than like Emily. In Dishonored 2, she still has like a displace kind of teleport ability, but in this one, she can like take the face of someone and masquerade as them, which seems super cool.
She can take
cool.
their face
off
off
and like put it on.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she can. So there's new abilities. Presentation wise, it's pretty damn similar to Dishonored 2. Not expecting too much more out of that. But
I was kind of looking at it, and you remember how the first Dishonored had that DLC that was a totally new like playable character and setting?
Yep.
Do you think they were in the process of doing that again, and then went, wait a minute, we could sell this for $30 as a standalone thing? Or does it seem more involved than that?
In some places it does seem more involved.
Okay. I don't want to
but
assume
in others,
too much
like
about their business plans. But
when they're like setting up a level, like the interstitial like cutscenes, it's all like motion comic and it's kind of monotone. Like it's not. It's tough to say just yet.
Yeah.
But like presentation wise, not hugely ambitious, but there is some new stuff as far as like powers are concerned. So.
Right.
But yeah, I want to check it out more. So cool. The story's already grabbed me. Yeah. You know, I really want to take on the outsider for sure. That sounds super cool. Yeah. There's also contracts now, which is like submissions.
Yeah, I saw that when we were messing with it.
Yeah, and I didn't remember if it was because you did have like submissions that you could pick up, like kind of side questy stuff in Dishonored 2. But this is kind of you don't have to go to a person to get them; they just kind of pop up. Or sometimes you have to go to a certain location or whatever. But there's a few differences, but yeah, overall, Dishonored 2.
Cool.
If you like that, and I do an awful lot. Hey, there's more.
Many do.
Yeah. Monster Hunter Stories.
Oh,
I didn't play it.
All right.
Yeah, we were planning on doing a quick look.
Sure. I mean, you've got 55 seconds left. If you
no, fuck. I keep thinking about the game. The game's really good, actually. I can't believe how much fun I'm having with it.
Except that your save is locked up on a.
Yeah.
It's being held prisoner on an SD card.
Yeah. So sometimes, when we do capture, we can. Well, most of the time, we can just bring over the SD card or the cartridge, and it just works. This is one of the weird instances like Mario Maker, where the save does not transfer.
So you're
over.
Fucking Nintendo's hardware-based copy protection is such a pain in the
ass.
It's
it is not copy protection.
Or,
it is
or DRM.
In some cases, it's physically them installing extra data to the SD card in conjunction with what is on the cartridge, and that stuff you can't pull an SD card out and put it in another system and just have it just work.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because, everything about Nintendo systems
is maybe DRM
tied to specific systems and not.
So yeah, you have cases where, like, generally speaking, if you have a cartridge, or you can move it wherever you want, and the save will transfer. But
that's how we do it.
On the 3DS. That's not true. On the Switch, though, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah. Card saves are stored locally.
You're right. They are. But yeah, Mario Maker did a thing where if you pulled it out of one 3DS and ever put the game into a different one, it would negate the save on the other 3DS.
You put the cart back in your first 3DS, you could then no longer use the save?
It was basically could only...
So that's what happened to you?
I'm super freaked out.
Dude, that's terrible.
It wanted to create a new save file, and or it said overwrite. Either way, it freaked me out. And I'm like, I'm not going to lose my progress over this.
Yeah. So no quick look. Unless we point a camera at Jason's 3DS.
Yeah. Nintendo might send us a code, and I might play a little bit.
You could start over. Yeah.
So that's my question. My question to you is, if I have up to this point never in my life given a shit about Monster Hunter, would I still find enjoyment in this?
Do you like Pokemon?
At first,
I like Pokemon a lot.
At first, I thought it was catering, like it was mostly fan servicey stuff, but there's enough mechanics and enough good stuff going on that I think it will actually appeal to people.
Maybe I'll jump in and
I recommend it.
I have almost enough games to where I can now, because I need a new 3DS. I'll probably get like a 2DS, but I have a list of games like that, the new Rhythm Heaven. I'm just like, it's almost tipped over to the point where I'm ready to take the plunge and go.
That sounds great. Yeah, like it seems to fall in line with Yokai Watch or recent Pokemon games as well. It seems as deep. It seems as fun.
And I guess
I'm super surprised by it.
I guess
I thought it was just going to be a kind of a lame spin-off, based off the cartoon or whatever.
Yeah. But Switch Pokemon has to be like years away, right?
Yeah,
probably.
I'm sorry. The game came first, then the cartoon. Somebody's going to blow me up in the comments. I'm sorry.
because they're doing the remaster of Black and White, X and Y. What was the most recent?
Sun and Moon? No.
They're
Sun
doing,
and
or
Moon
they
were
just
most
released. Oh boy, 4
About to
dudes
step
in
in
a
it.
room who don't know about Pokemon talking about Pokemon.
The
Coughing is number 20.
Top 1,000 Pokemon of the last 10 years go.
Coughing.
Okay.
Charizard, Alakazam.
Poplio's probably up there.
Poplio's cool.
Actually, I guess coughing is older than 10 years at this point, right?
Oh, he doesn't. Yeah.
Oh fuck, Trubbish.
There have been no good Pokemon in the last 10 years except for Poplio.
Trubbish. He's
Okay.
a bag of garbage.
Yeah, the garbage. Yeah.
Named Trubbish.
Very good bag of garbage. It's okay.
Mimikyu. That ghost looking
Nope.
Pikachu.
Nope. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right.
Let's talk about some news.
Oh,
Aha!
The music already played. We've been talking about
Listen.
news this entire time.
listen, I'm hitting it.
Everything is
It
news.
is not playing. I need to.
No, it's okay. We
already
sang
played it. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
We're into it
still
now.
Not playing.
Okay.
Dun.
I'll take your word for it. Let's just
Oh,
go.
whoa.
Oh, now we can do it. Okay. Did you guys watch that Nintendo Direct last week?
I did not.
Nope.
We were recording something.
Oh, that's right. That is totally
May
true.
have been in the air.
Some Bethesda games are coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Doom. Perhaps you've heard of it.
I've heard of Doom.
Wolfenstein: The New Colossus. Perhaps
Yes.
you've heard of it.
Wolfenstein 2. Spear of Destiny.
Yes, that's the one. Man, I would totally play Spear of Destiny on a Switch.
Mm.
Doom is coming to a Switch.
Yeah.
What?
All right.
That's so weird.
Maybe I'll finish Doom.
Dude, how the fuck did you not finish Doom? It's so good.
Doom is a very good game.
Doom is a very good game.
Yeah, it'll be neat to see how it runs on a less
Yeah.
powerful platform.
Like I was immediately skeptical, but then like its whole thing seems to be like our games look better than everybody else's, and they run twice as smooth.
I want to
So
play
it'll
Doom
probably be fine.
on the Switch as a passenger in a car going 120 miles an hour.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're
There you
talking. Gosh, I don't think I have this in.
Multiplayer and everything coming up.
No,
as
that's
well?
exactly what I was about to
multiplayer
say.
is,
I'm
but
trying to
Snap Map is not.
Yes, I'm
I
trying to
think is what
find,
it
and
is.
also multiplayer is not on the cart. It's going to be a separate download
Okay.
after release, or maybe on day one, maybe not.
Is that something you could maybe not download
don't
if
know.
you didn't want to? Because that
question.
sounds pretty good.
Good question. And yeah, no Snap Map whatsoever.
Damn it.
I finally ran out of internal memory on my Switch. Had to get an SD
Really?
card.
Yeah.
I'm finally getting stuff.
It's a way to live.
Yeah.
Just get yourself some. How big did you get?
32.
32?
'cause- Yeah,
Yeah.
Just for now. Like
Yeah.
I could have paid $10 more and got a 64, but
You
I'm
probably
not gonna
start
need it for a
deleting
while.
at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be weird. Doom's coming out this year. Wolfenstein not till next year.
Okay.
So
So Wolfenstein will hit on other platforms and then switch later.
yeah, and like I mean, it's awesome that they're doing it,
Yeah.
but like it's not the way I would want to play Wolfenstein the first time necessarily.
right. Oh, I'm
gonna play that on a more powerful console or a PC.
You know,
Right, yeah.
unlike before when they would port games to the Wii or the
Yeah,
Wii U
the
or
Wii
whatever,
U in
this one
particular.
is pretty cool because now it's like portable, right?
Yeah.
There is a reason
Yeah, for sure.
to feasibly
There's
want
something
this.
there.
Yeah, there is a
version,
hook. There is definitely a hook, that
which
the
is
other-
cool.
Other
No, they
consoles
did
don't have.
Batman Armored Edition. You got a sweet additional armor for
God.
Batman.
Remember that Sunday afternoon Wii U launch stream,
Uh-huh.
which was 60% ports of 360
Uh-huh.
games.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that was a day.
How was Madden?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
Tekken was good.
a lot of those games didn't run very well.
Tekken.
Tekken Ball, man.
Tekken Ball. Yeah.
Also Skyrim coming out November 17th on the Switch.
Oh, finally I can play Skyrim.
Skyrim.
I finally play
A
Skyrim.
portable Skyrim.
Perhaps you. I mean, that's.
I guess again, like
there's, there's merit to that.
But
Is there any form? Is there any? Has Skyrim been represented in all forms of video game?
Well, okay, there's an Unreal Engine demo going around with Skyrim running on a phone in the Unreal Engine, and you can walk up, pick up the phone, and play Skyrim.
You got VR.
Mhm.
You got every console ever.
Uh-huh.
Now you have portable.
Huh.
What's left?
Card game.
Yeah, but that's like a different game. I'm talking about the video
Like
game
actual
Skyrim has
I mean,
been.
They could put it on phones.
Yeah.
They totally could put out an
They
iPhone
could.
version of Skyrim.
Yeah, I bet they absolutely could at this
Yeah.
point, couldn't they?
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I played that game when it came out.
Yeah.
I'm never, but like the reason it seems like the reason people keep playing games like Skyrim is because of the modability.
Yep.
And so releasing a new version
that,
for consoles is
mod stuff coming to the Switch?
the Creators Club?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Hope so.
I've not. I feel like people do not spend a lot of time talking about the Creators Club now that it is like known and launched and all
Is
this
it
other
out?
stuff. I think
Yeah,
so.
it's out.
Right there.
Yeah.
It just came
Yeah,
out,
it came
like,
out.
recently, right?
Last 2-3 weeks.
Take a look at that
I
stuff.
feel like there was the initial burst of like people looking at it and going, "This is a bad deal for not great content," and then that kind of dried. And also it broke a lot of mod stuff, existing mod
yeah.
stuff. So
I saw that there's a mod for Fallout 4 that takes references to the Creators Club out of the game.
okay,
So
that sounds all right.
if you want a clean Fallout 4, you can have it.
Clean faces.
No, that's a different
Yes.
mod.
No,
Okay,
that's
all
a
right.
very different subject. Jeff, what do you know about this classic arcade games thing they're doing?
Why? What did you hear?
I don't know. I didn't hear much at all.
No, yeah, they Hamster, the people that bring us Neo Geo
Oh.
games and arcade classics on the PS4 and Switch and other places.
Yeah.
The Hamster, the company that brings you Sudoku for the PlayStation 4.
Sure. Somebody has to.
They have been enlisted by / partnered with Nintendo,
That's
and
crazy.
they are putting Mario Brothers, non-super,
Yeah.
regular ass Mario Brothers,
Straight up.
out on the Switch this year.
Single screen,
Yeah, single screen co-op play.
red Jumpman, green Jumpman.
Yeah, no, they were more. This is
Okay.
Luigi's first appearance.
Okay.
Wait, does this have to do with the golf?
No,
thing?
no,
Okay.
this is
Mario
separate.
Brothers was competitive.
No.
Some of both.
You want to?
Huh.
I mean, you're competing for score, but if you
Yeah.
actively fuck over the other player in a game of Mario Brothers, in a game where you are putting quarters into a machine,
Yeah.
you're a monster.
I thought it was just like a score chase. Like you're going to the items first.
Yeah.
But
Or
also,
trying to get the
you want to
most
get
points.
the highest score
Yeah. So,
possible. So if you are cutting another player's game short,
not
specifically
necessarily fucking with them, but trying to get to the points first.
oh yeah,
And maybe,
yeah, I mean,
maybe
sure.
bumping them out of the way a little bit here and
Yeah.
there.
But also, you both want to get to the highest stage possible. You both want to last as long as possible because
That's
it's a
not what I
value
want.
proposition.
That's not what I
It's
want.
true. It's a It's
I would
an
gladly pay a
uneasy
quarter to-
alliance for sure.
I would gladly pay a quarter to fuck over my friends.
Oh man, these are bad.
You guys want to go to the arcade later?
Absolutely not.
Dude, Hamster.
Hamster,
Of course.
Like
a major force.
ascending in
Yeah.
the world of video games.
Wait, okay, then
working
what's,
directly with Nintendo.
what's the Mario Golf?
So that's a separate thing. So
we'll get
just
to
to
that.
finish.
Are we gonna- okay.
Just to finish this up. Arcade Archives Mario Brothers will be out.
So I actually didn't realize until just now that this is literally the same banner
Yeah,
as like those weird PS4 releases of
yeah. The Arcade Archives franchise goes
Yeah.
deep and hard.
That's so and you'd think Nintendo would at least like rebrand it themselves somehow,
Yeah,
but
I
like,
don't-
that's so weird.
No, it's cool. So yeah, they've been bringing a ton of Neo Geo games out on the Switch, and
Yeah.
so now they're going to get
That's
into
right.
Nintendo's
that's
arcade
right.
history.
They were already in that market.
yeah.
for sure.
So
I got the list here.
it's Mario Brothers is the first one,
Yeah.
I think, this month, right?
Yes.
And then it's like what else?
September
Punch Out.
27th. Punch Out, and that's the arcade
right.
Punch Out.
Yep,
That's the
arcade Punch
weird
Out.
tall-
Oh, yeah.
tall
I wonder if you'll
screen.
be able to rotate because
Probably.
it was a dual screen game. It was
yeah.
a DS game.
Probably.
I wonder if they're going to have in my favorite Punch-Out bad guy of all time, Pizza Pasta.
I assume they would.
Great.
Was it
Vodka Drunkinski.
was it Soda Popinski in the arcade
It was
Punch Out,
not.
or was it actually vodka?
Yeah.
No kidding. Well, yeah,
Right,
because it's an
right.
arcade. It's
Yeah,
fucking
they
low,
don't care.
Anything goes.
You're betting
low
on the
lifes and
game.
They named a guy Pizza Pasta.
low lifes and seedy characters hang out in
Pizza
arcades.
pasta. Because yes, what if the game's at a pizza place? You want that?
Um,
Yes, the real as fuck original Punch Out.
yeah, with the
wireframe
looking dude. Yeah.
That's a cool game.
Versus Super Mario Brothers, versus Balloon Fight, versus Ice Climber, versus Pinball, and versus Clue Clue Land.
Yeah, those are weird ones where like they had to explain in the press release, like, hey, these are a little different from the NES games. They brought Super Mario Brothers to arcades as versus Super Mario Brothers, and there's some slight differences in the level design, and I want to say like fewer because they want to suck money out of you. There are fewer one-up mushrooms and stuff like that.
Yes.
And maybe a slightly different color palette. Anyway, but yeah, so they're those games may be a little less interesting. I hope they get around to stuff like Radar Scope, Donkey Kong 3, like Popeye, if they could get the rights to
I loved Popeye.
re-release Popeye. Popeye's a great game.
Yeah.
Sky Skipper, weird stuff like that. Yeah, I think Nintendo's got a weird history in arcades, and I think it would be cool if they explore all of that stuff.
Remember the Play Choice 10?
Yeah.
That thing is
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah.
Timed arcade game.
Yeah.
What?
Just, because they were putting home games into
Yeah.
arcades, and
Yeah.
the home games didn't have hooks for lives or continues.
Yeah, that's
or,
sure.
the same way an arcade game would. So they're like, well, just put in the quarter and we'll let the joystick work for 3 minutes.
God, was it really 3 minutes?
Depending on the operator's dip switch choices.
yeah,
You
okay.
could probably set that. There's a Genesis equivalent of that.
Huh.
Megatech, I want to say it's
really?
called. Yeah,
wow.
similar idea.
Wait, could you just straight up swap NES carts out of the play
No,
choice?
they sold custom boards and stuff that basically prevented you from doing that because they charged the operators more than you would pay for the home version of the game.
Sure. Home video rules.
Yeah,
rental.
sort of, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't. It's neat that they're doing this.
Yeah, it
stuff.
doesn't seem like they're really doing much to the games. Like, do those
Yeah.
hamster releases do much?
They're
of anything?
emulated. They're solid.
No extra features. No frills.
Like freeze and save that, it's like
Yeah, yeah,
limited additional features, but leaderboard stuff and and all that. But
Yeah.
I assume it'll have the standard archives wrapper that all those other games have.
Yeah.
So
what's
Easy
up with,
achievements.
what's up with Flog
yeah. So
on Switch?
there's
wasn't-
been stuff going around.
I wasn't sure if we should get into this because it's some weird gray area.
So golf, old NES golf, a hell of a golf game for its time.
Mario is in it. Isn't he?
This
Yeah.
is Mario's in the other one that came.
Oh, am I thinking about the other golf
Yeah,
game?
you're thinking
where you
about the
play as
US
Mario?
Tour golf or whatever it is,
Okay.
where the
That-
striped suit.
yeah. Oh, that's-
This is just some fucking golf ass golf.
Okay.
Like for everyone.
Yeah. It's a limited subset of everyone.
Okay.
It is most people's golf of the 80s. Apparently, it is embedded into every Switch at the firmware level.
Oh, great. How
Oh,
do I
in the
play?
Switch itself. It's not in the game installs?
No,
Wow.
it
Actually
is
lives
part of the
in
system
Switch.
software for the Switch, whether it's like written to firmware, whatever it is.
Maybe
So what, do I
we're
need
all
like a
just
cheat
an
code?
Unreal Engine simulation.
Yeah.
And we're in a phone.
And didn't I read it's not just the game, but also like a functional NES emulator is in there?
Well, it would be an emulated version of the NES.
Yeah.
Also, it has been updated for motion controller support.
Right. That's right.
So when you see it running, it has like little instructions on the side about using the Joy-Con to golf. This is something that is not accessible at all
Yes.
to the average Switch user. And so there have been some dark things happening around the edges of the Switch, around firmware that has since been patched, where it sounds like that some of the same hackers that have done things on the 3DS, but also some different people, some people have contributed to Wii U hacks of the same nature. It sounds like some of the same people that have rooted around in that firmware have gotten a privileged level of access to the Switch through some sort of exploit that is currently undisclosed. So it is not publicly available. People are not necessarily releasing custom firmware, hacking switches to play bootleg games, all that other stuff. But it sounds like that in some capacity that stuff is doable if you are extremely knowledgeable about that stuff. So someone who is a part of that scene started posting images of something that was in the system software called Flog, which is NES Golf. Wow. Running in an NES emulator with motion
Controls for an NES game.
Yeah. So
Did they boot it? Like they played it?
Yeah, looks like it.
Wow.
I don't know that I've seen video of it. I've seen a handful of screenshots and stuff, and the person posting that stuff is known to have done stuff on the 3DS, so it would be a long way to go for fakery.
Yeah.
So I don't know where this comes from or why it's there.
Yeah.
It's
intriguing.
if it's something that is part of like the dev kit that was like an early test that they were using to test Joy-Cons or something like that is just a remnant left over in the system software that was never meant to be seen by anyone, that they'll probably now just patch out and remove completely, because why not? And it's a weird situation where like now this stuff is like kind of publicly disclosed in some form. So you got like people going like, well, wait, how do I do it? How do I do it? And the answer is you don't. It's a very strange thing. But fascinating. This has also led to people data mining Switch games. Some of the same access that people have been using to do this stuff. Some of the people hacking around the edges of the Switch are doing things like tearing apart Splatoon and going like, oh, here are the maps that are coming, which a lot of that stuff happened on the Wii U as well. And people are getting access to the file formats of that thing and ripping into the games and all that. Not necessarily in a way that is modding them or ruining them online or anything like that. That's a further step. But this information being out there does at least start to say like, oh, this stuff is doable in some of the same ways, in similar ways, maybe potentially to how it was done on the 3DS and the Wii U.
Yeah. Not necessarily that it's coming or anything like that.
Oh yeah, I mean the public release of exploits and updates and all that sort of stuff tend to come long after the initial kind of hackers get in there and toy around with the system, because most of them are doing it for funsies, less so for piracy.
Right.
They're just kind of trying to get access to the system and see what makes it tick.
This is what they do.
It's what they do.
They can't not do it.
Yeah.
They can't help themselves.
Yeah, no, they cannot. Nintendo tried to start bug bounty programs to try to get people like that to disclose the bugs to them instead of disclosing them publicly.
They're giving away like Microsoft or
Yeah,
Nintendo
they're giving away Microsoft points. It's a really
eShop
weird
credit.
thing.
Yeah,
No,
eShop credit.
but the actual amount of money that were assigned to some of the bugs was low enough to where people were still like, I'm part of this scene. I'm not going to sell out, and I'll just release this stuff publicly. So
you're saying if I want to play Flog, I need to go call my friend GeoHots.
Yeah, George will hook you up.
Didn't he go work at Sony?
Yeah. I think
See, that's
he
the
did.
thing.
Yeah,
Nintendo
exactly.
should be hiring these people
Right.
to shore up their security.
Yeah, maybe. There's
Nobody's cracked PS4 open, have they?
there was a brief period of time, not at least not in the way that you're talking about. There was a period of time where a lot of retail shops in Brazil had figured out methods to clone hard drives. So with the way premium, like a primary account on a PS4 can boot any game purchased on it, they could clone that primary account across multiple hard drives. So any user could boot any game that was already installed on that drive. So you'd go to a store in Brazil and buy a PS4 that had a ton of games pre-installed on it. And then you'd have to take it back to them to update it with new games or whatever. But I think Sony has closed a lot of those loopholes as well. And you'd never be able to play online because you'd be stuck on older firmware and all this other stuff. I think that's the state of that stuff. I haven't really looked into it recently, but it does not seem to be busted open or anything like that. Yeah, that stuff's fascinating and strange. Yeah. And the presence of this in the Switch firmware leads to all sorts of questions. Like, is this actually the first hint of what they're going to do for Virtual Console? Are they gonna make meaningful changes to these games and add motion control?
Yeah, motion controls is kind of a big deal.
Or is that something? Or is it just something? Is it like an SDK sample?
Yeah,
like the Dolphin on the original Xbox.
Like this is just a profiling tool for you to see
just
how motion
test
control works.
test to make sure your motion controllers work.
Yeah.
And this is some code samples you could use to make your own motion controller. Like, I literally do not know.
Yeah.
Someone does, but it ain't me.
Still fascinating though.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of it for big stuff out of that direct. I mean, there was new Mario footage. There was a handful of other stuff. They put out an Octopath Traveler demo that I downloaded and have not had a chance to play, but that thing looks fucking so cool. It's the Bravely Default people.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's got like a tilt shift look to it, but it's all pixel art, so it's got like depth of field, but sprites. And
it has like the kind of Fire Emblem triangle, right? Or like
I think so. Something similar. I saw something about the combat. Yeah, people seem super positive on it, and it looks awesome. I really want to try that. Also, TGS is happening.
Right.
Or about to happen.
Yeah,
or
about
maybe,
to happen.
Maybe it has just started.
Getting underway.
Today.
Yeah.
I think Peter Brown is probably over there.
Or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Based
he's
on the
not there
photos
now.
on his Twitter.
Okay, yeah. Man,
I think he's riding trains.
Yeah, he mentioned last week, he was like, hey, I'm going to Tokyo if you want me to get you anything. And I went, yes, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
Something, please.
Are we expecting anything big?
Sony already had their thing. They had
their press
conference-y presentation.
They showed a game called Destiny 2.
Thing. Yeah, did they?
Okay.
Yeah.
What did they have to say about it?
They said
the shooting is
style
good.
play. I don't know.
I was playing trials with some people who live in Japan in our clan over the weekend, and we came up against what they were absolutely convinced was a Japanese team of Destiny players.
Oh.
Who were like very polite. They were bowing and stuff.
Oh,
and
wow.
They said they could tell from the names and stuff like that, but
They tagged up.
These guys had a lot of experience with like Japanese competitive shooter culture and said it's like incredibly like polite and fairly welcoming in contrast to like all the teabagging and shit.
I've played a fair amount with
West.
like Japanese Overwatch players.
Yeah,
and
they mentioned the Overwatch scene in Japan. Yeah,
very, very like kind emoting.
Yeah, totally.
And then just dominating you.
Yes, these guys fucking destroyed us, but they were very polite about it.
Well, that's all you can hope for.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Sony had its press conference and
Yeah.
showed off a handful of things.
A little bit of stuff, not a ton.
If you like mechs,
Yeah?
it's your
Hell
time.
yes.
If you like, I'm sorry, if you like mecha,
Mecha.
it is your
Oh,
fucking
Yeah,
time.
there's a distinct difference.
They
Zone of-
showed off the new Virtual On game,
Okay.
which is a crossover with.
Wait, are you actually serious?
Yeah,
I
they
don't
announced
have
this
that on my
earlier in the
list.
year. It was it's the title of it escapes me,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
don't
a Dengeki Bunko, the publisher. It's characters from that and the writers from that.
That is.
It was a fighting climb. Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax was a fighting game pulling characters from the Dengeki Bunko universe, which is like visual novels and manga, I think.
Sure.
Just keep saying
Dengeki Bunko. It's fun to
Yeah,
say.
that is good.
Anyway, they're making a new Virtual On game that is written by the writer of some of a manga that is associated with that. It's called A Memory 4 Times: Virtual On. A Memory for Virtual On. It is a mashup of the title that this guy writes and Virtual On.
Cool.
You look up, just type Virtual On PS4 into the internet and tell me what comes back, Brad.
Sorry, what is it?
Virtual On.
Yes.
It's a mech game.
Virtual On is a mech game?
No, Virtual
For the
On
PlayStation
PS4.
4.
Yes, I typed it's a mech game. Go on.
PS4. Now hit return.
Sega bringing back Virtual On to PS4, comma, Vita in crossover.
Okay, click on that and just tell me what the name of this goddamn game is.
A certain magical Virtual On?
A certain magical Virtual On.
Yes.
So they've taken characters that I think are from a certain magical blank
Index.
a certain magical index,
Sure.
or at least it's from the makers of that, and they're telling a story in the Virtual On universe. So they're basically saying, what if the Virtual On robots all had cutesy anime pilots?
Yeah.
Also,
Fuck yeah.
Also, what if those robots were called Virtuaroids?
What?
That's
Yeah,
what this says.
All right.
Virtuaroids.
Characters from a certain
no
magical
Zoids.
index will see their supernatural abilities complemented by the mechs called Virtuaroids.
Virtual Roids. That sounds terrible.
That's not good.
If you have virtuaroids, please contact your doctor.
Yeah, Preparation V. So yeah, that they showed that had been announced previously, but I don't think I had seen any footage of it until this thing, and it looks like a Virtual On game, which some people will be extremely excited about.
Yeah.
Zone of the Enders
Yeah,
is
speaking
getting
of-
a remake in VR.
Is it just
PSVR.
VR? Or is it?
I don't think it's just VR.
Okay. This says with VR support.
Yeah,
but I
with
think-
VR support. It's
2D and 1080p and VR.
what is this called? This is Anubis, Zone of the Enders, Mars, but Mars has an upside down A. And in the press release Konami sent out, they maintained the upside down A in the subject line of the email.
Wow.
Nice.
So as much fucking Unicode as you fucking
Man,
got.
yeah, look at that.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna.
I'm all for fucked up video game titles.
People like Zoe, right?
People say they do.
That's kind of what I mean.
I'm sorry. Zone of the Enders, the second runner, Mavars.
Mars.
But it's a upside down A. And they've maintained the upside down A across this entire press release. That's also coming to PC. So that's coming to Steam.
That's cool.
Um,
I always tended to think of Zoe as the way you got the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo.
people really like Zone of the Enders, but at the same time, I think people liked it at the time, but you definitely didn't. It didn't seem like it inspired a lasting fandom or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure that there are people that are very hardcore about Zoe that are like, "Fuck you, I love that shit," and still do.
Yeah. I got married in Zoe.
Right, yeah. But those games kind of came and went, and they were big for a time and sort of went away. It seemed like those were the games that, like, hey, Kojima wants to do something else, anything else, and so here are these mech games. I think it's sad in a weird way that Konami keeps announcing these older games.
Yeah, I guess.
that are like also not the older games that you'd really like to see, but this is still cool.
Yeah.
I can't knock it.
It's kind of like all of the Platinum stuff coming to PC.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
nice to see this stuff in a better form.
Yeah,
and preserved for posterity.
and it'll be interesting to see how well that does. I guess the thing here is I have somewhat limited experience with Zone of the Enders because I just got it and it just never the action just never clicked with me in a way. So it just never made people going apeshit for it at the time seemed like it was very much a Kojima kind of thing.
Sure. Yes.
Not necessarily about the game itself. So it was hard for me to see what people saw in it back then. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to take a look at it kind of with fresh eyes and much removed from that to kind of just see what that game is today or in spring 2018, I guess.
Sure. Square Enix announced a game called Left Alive.
Yeah, another mech game.
Are there mechs?
I believe so.
So the claim to fame for this game is that Yoji Shinkawa is doing the art.
And
guy
also the director is from Armored Core.
There's more to it than that, but I think the guy who does the Metal Gear Solid art doing another game, not
And
Metal Gear Solid,
like the title card image for that, you look at it and go like, that is
fucking-
Yoji
it is
Shinkawa drawing that for sure.
100,000% his style,
Yeah.
which is cool. But yeah, it's who else is on this? Shinji Hashimoto from Square Enix is working on it. Toshifumi Nabeshima from Software has apparently moved over to Square Enix, and he will also be working. So it's kind of like a here's a bunch of names that have worked on big Japanese games all getting together to make a.
And they've got a trailer out.
It's a super
so
short
the hole
trailer.
being blown in a building and a
Seems
helicopter flying over.
Some kind of apocalyptic urban action thing. They describe it as a survival action shooter.
Yeah.
But that could
100
be cool.
Max jumping.
Okay.
No.
Yes.
100 helicopters jump out of a helicopter.
Right. What else are they doing? There's Final Fantasy 9 is coming out on the PS4.
Okay.
Sure.
Is it a full remake or a up
No, I think it's just the standard way they've been doing ports, I think.
And what is that way? Because that's how little attention I've been paying to all this Final Fantasy remakes.
Well, it's not a remake. I think it's the way they've been putting out other PlayStation games on PS4. Limited trophy support. Remember how it was like
so like the PS2 to PS4 stuff.
I think it's part of that line. It's hard to keep track these days of the tiers of like a remake and re-release.
Yeah, is this a remake? Is this a reboot? Is
definitely,
this a
I don't think
remaster?
Definitely don't think it's a remake.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's happening. Monster Hunter World coming out in January.
That is much sooner than I thought, based on like when they say 2018 instead of early 2018. You start to think like, oh, is it like going to be mid-year or something?
Right. End of January, which sounds good to me because I think I'll be at a Destiny lull at that point and probably be looking for another loot game to play.
It's a worldwide release too.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, that's super cool.
PC later.
It's got world in the name.
Yeah,
it just makes sense.
It does.
So it's just PS4 and Xbox One in January, and PC will come later.
Yeah. Did you guys see their console? Oh my god.
Nope.
Yeah, they do a PS4.
They're doing a custom
Monster Hunter stuff on
Monster Hunter PS4 Pro.
I keep seeing people talk about Neko Atsume for some reason.
Yeah,
some
VR.
cat VR
cat
thing.
Yeah.
I like Neko Atsume.
What is that? Oh,
that's that mobile thing, right?
Right.
The cat collector.
That's why people are into it.
Yeah.
Because it's a thing that already exists.
It's a VR thing, right?
Another
Yeah,
thing
so they're
in
doing
VR.
a VR thing. VR cats, let's fucking go.
Right, right.
That chubby,
Okay.
chubby VR cat.
Now I remember that
Take me away.
game.
I want to live there.
Yeah, that thing was
From a few months
that
ago.
thing was huge.
Yeah, earlier this year.
The kids, they love it.
Yeah. It's coming
they love the cats.
coming to PSVR. They're making a new Gungrave, or is this?
Yeah, it's a Gungrave
Really?
VR.
That's a made up.
Yeah,
That's
VR
made
only
up.
Gungrave.
Gungrave's not a real thing.
Gungrave is the realest thing.
Yeah.
That's not. There's nothing called Gungrave. That's
Yes,
not-
there is. There's
This is
couple
a
things.
test, and you guys are quizzing me, and I can.
Tell me about the Gungrave thing.
It's a VR shooter. It's a fucking.
Is this a
it's
fully
shooting
new game?
VR
That's
thing?
crazy.
Yeah, it looks like it's a new thing.
What is
potentially set
Gungrave?
after the events of previous
Jason, what's
Gungrave.
Gungrave?
It's fucking awesome, is what it is.
You'd have to describe it because I just
Third-person
remember it as a game that came
action
out.
Shooter, over the top anime style. You've appreciated God Hand. This is kind of quirky in that respect.
What
A lot of
console?
damage numbers popping off. Shit.
PS2.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, PS2.
Yeah.
Early-ish.
Yeah.
2002.
Have you ever seen Trigun, the anime?
Yeah.
I want to say it's the same character creator. So
Oh,
the
okay.
characters in there are very similar to.
Yeah, sure.
Like Wolf
Yeah.
and-
So this looks like a shooting
Bash.
gallery VR thing.
Is there a priest?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember. Shooting gallery VR thing bums me out.
That's sort of what it looks like from the trailer. Like it looks nice, very stylish. Like the numbers popping off in different colors and different font. You know, like a cool look to it.
I'm looking at a screenshot on our wiki that just says "kick their ass" in the middle of the screen with 2 exclamation
right.
marks.
Yes, Gungrave.
Yep.
Then there was like a update of Gungrave. There was like Gungrave EX or something, right? Like some kind of
This was years ago.
like Dreamcast and PS2, maybe. No,
No, I don't think so. I want to say they were both on
PS2,
PS2.
Xbox. Yeah, it was only one of them came out over here or something.
Maybe.
And the other one was Japan only. It's a blur.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to play Gungrave again. No.
I want to check it out.
You know, there's other stuff out of this thing. You know, Dynasty Warriors 9. They're putting out Dragon's Crown on PS4.
Yeah.
Dragon's Crown Pro, I think they're
Dragon's
calling
Crown
it.
Pro is a
So
weird
there's
name.
cross play with that. I wonder if they're gonna give it the same kind of treatment as they did like Odin Sphere, like redoing the sprites and shit.
I don't know about redoing, but it says native 4K.
Okay.
So maybe they just like drew all that stuff at 4K to begin with.
Just scanned it
Or
back in
I
at
doubt that.
higher resolution. Well, you just a drawing. You can scan it in at whatever resolution you want.
Yeah, perhaps.
It's just a matter of if the source material is detailed enough. Anyway,
that's kind of all the big stuff so far out of Sony. The TGS show.
Gran Turismo's out relatively soon. Also,
Yeah,
they showed. I think they showed a new PS4 with the GT logo on the side of it.
Yes.
If that's your thing.
Pull up the dates for TGS just so we know what to expect and when.
This is likely to be the big drop of TGS info.
Think so?
There'll be a couple of other minor things out of third parties that were not part of that press conference, but they're Nintendo.
Yeah, you're right. Nintendo
is not
doesn't
a
do stuff
Nintendo
there.
show.
Xbox obviously not going to do stuff there.
They
might announce something, but not a big show for them.
Yeah.
9/21. So a couple days from now is when the business day starts.
Okay. So you'll probably see
there's more stuff trickling out of there.
A handful of announcements, but
nothing too crazy. What else is going on in the world?
I mean, if you're opening it up that wide, then
maybe let's constrict this just a little bit.
All right, fine.
I apologize. I hope maybe Jeff looked at this story. I pulled this story and then didn't get a chance to read it beforehand, but I saw that cross-platform play in Fortnite went live between Xbox and PS4 very briefly.
There was
and then they turned it back off.
Configuration error is how Epic put it. Yes, but for a brief period of time, people were seeing Xbox players in that battle royale.
How were they able to tell? Does it straight up label them?
PlayStation usernames cannot have spaces in them.
Oh, that's how they were able to tell?
And so they started seeing ones in strange formats and then started looking it up. Eventually that led to like people having them running side by side in the same game and going like, this works.
Confirming that it was happening.
And Epic did later confirm that it was indeed happening. And they said, it's a configuration error that we have corrected. And they have since turned it off.
So do you believe the conspiracy that I've seen a lot of, which is people saying they turned it on to be like, look how easy this is, and then turned it off to put the ball into Sony and Microsoft's court?
There's an amazing update to this story that happened, I guess, hours later.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody tweeted at Phil Spencer about this.
Oh, right, yeah.
They tweeted, as Frederick on Twitter tweeted at Phil Spencer, what do you think of the accidental temporary crossplay of PS4 and Xbox One? Everybody was loving it. Lol, too bad it's fixed. Phil Spencer responds, I would have liked to see them leave it on.
Yeah.
So,
that echoes things he has said.
Oh,
about that.
Definitely. Yeah. Yes, of course he would. And
the guy is a master of winning hearts and minds.
He knows when to say. I think
he's not wrong.
He walks that walk. Also.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's disingenuous at all. It's just like that is just a very nice, concise way to say like, yeah, we think it's good.
Yeah.
That would benefit everybody.
Yes, it would.
Keyword: we think it's good.
Yeah. And so I don't think that I would not subscribe to a conspiracy theory where Epic is doing this to put pressure on Sony, because Epic is a business partner with Sony. It's not in their best interests to put a bunch of heat on Sony for this stuff, which is exactly, I think, what has happened.
I think the evidence that people were using to back that claim up is that the game's numbers are lower than Epic wanted it to be, and this was kind of their way of both bumping up active players and also putting
that
a
battle
feature
royale
into the
mode
game
is
that
something
would
that only
people.
works if you have 100 players playing at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Fair, you got pretty full matches pretty fast.
I have
on
not,
Friday.
and maybe it's tapered off since then, but if that's what people are saying, but it has not been a problem finding games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since that thing launched.
Also, watching that thing on Friday, I mean, I'm probably not going to go play it. Like, this is somewhat academic, but that thing seems better than it has any right to be.
Oh yeah,
or
the Battle Royale mode,
different enough from something like PUBG.
When I started shooting at someone and saw them pop a wall,
they built a wall
is when I
to
went
block your shots.
Oh, okay, that's what you would use the Fortnite tools for in this type of game.
Or you found a little cranny in a brick-walled building, and I suggested you just build a brick wall to wall yourself in and hide out until the end of the match.
Yeah.
It seems like you could get creative with those building tools in a way that would add something to that type of game.
But I just don't think the shooting is good enough for what I'm looking for out of a battle royale type of experience. It's just not the shooting, the model, the combat in Fortnite was not built for that type of PvP.
It's a horde mode built with spongy enemies in mind.
Yeah.
It's not
so it's kind of strange.
So strange that was the first one.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
GTA Online apparently.
Oh yeah.
So This is obviously we've known it's technically possible for some time.
Sure, yeah,
there's nothing stopping developers other than the business, and increasingly, and this makes some sense because it's their market position. Look at what some of the amazing things Jim Ryan had to say around E3.
Sure.
That it's literally like Sony's in the lead. They don't have to play ball with Microsoft because they're in the lead.
Yeah.
End of story.
And
I feel like Microsoft was on the other side of this last generation and did the exact same thing.
I was just going to say, let's be fair. Microsoft would most likely be doing the same thing in their position.
And I think things have changed, and the way we look at generations, the way we look at the competition with the consoles, I think is changing.
Yeah.
And this stuff makes a lot more sense now. Like I'm much more of the mind of like, fucking do it.
Yeah.
Just absolutely do it.
For
like
the
fuck the business
consumers.
reasons. Just make it fucking happen. Whereas last time I would be a little more like, I guess I see from a business perspective why you would not do it. Like at this point, it's like, no, just fuck this. Like all these platforms are in the same range, the same capabilities, the same basic tech.
Right.
And it's dumb that these arbitrary limits are thrown up around this stuff.
Yeah.
The solutions are there if people want to develop them and if Sony wants to support it. So literally, I think it is just Sony doesn't want to do it.
But considering somebody will always be in a position of dominance in that market, somebody will probably always have an incentive to not do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sadly. I think at some point we have to wonder like what, we think about like the generation of sales and who was the lead console in this generation. Like as, we, with the PS4 Pro in the market, with the Xbox One X around the corner, like the meaning of a generation, I think, is potentially changing.
Yeah.
And like what those sales stories are and how meaningful they really are at the end of the day, other than like the chest fucking pounding pissing contest shit. Like there are fewer reasons to not just allow crossplay and stuff like that and just get on with it.
Yeah, maybe they'll get there if this stuff goes on long enough.
With some games, I don't think it has to be like a core feature of either of these platforms.
Right.
But if developers want to do the extra work with their multi-platform games and make all that stuff work, they shouldn't be limited to just PS4 and PC talking to each other.
Yeah.
Just let the Xbox One owners, let the Switch owners in games where that makes sense,
Yeah.
like Rocket League.
Rocket League is
like
doing
that.
it, right, on Switch?
I think they are.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
But
wasn't that the story that everybody except Sony is in on Rocket League now? I think
so.
yeah, I guess that's probably right. I was gonna say didn't PS4 Rocket League talk to PC, but I guess that's not true.
it does, but not to Xbox.
So what the
right?
fuck does that? Because if Xbox talks to
Correct.
PC, if they both talk to PC but not to each other, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like what a weird.
It means get it on PC.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And then what does that mean for Switch? Because I assume Switch will talk to Xbox. Because
And
I'm trying to- I'm
unless
and-
Nintendo is like, the kids.
Now I'm trying to figure that out.
If you're playing as a Switch owner, you only just see a fucking batch of numbers with a line through them, censoring the numbers. I don't know. It's
Yeah. All those versions will talk to each other except for PS4.
okay. But PS4 does talk to PC or no?
Currently,
Pretty
yeah.
sure, yeah.
So that's the weird thing.
So
then.
they have like
Okay.
a hopper that only lets you into PS4 and PC matches, or all the others.
PS4 do PCs then have the ability to search for a wider base of games, and maybe they match up with PS4 people, and maybe they match up with a ton of other people,
Fucking weird.
or a ton of other people on these other platforms. Like that's really strange.
Yeah.
Really strange.
Indeed.
This stuff sucks. I feel like I've changed my mind on it a few times over the last 5-6 years, and whatever. It's just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Get it over with.
Yeah. Bruce Straley is taking off from Naughty Dog.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of, I don't know if this is a consequence of the way they credit their games, but I've always gotten the sense that, or they've always made it feel like he and Neil Druckmann are like a sort of duo.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, they kind of.
I think
they
they've
go
always
out together
kinda-
and talk.
Yeah, they've appeared together, but
Yeah.
also I feel like they're both credited as like kind of co-directors or something
Yeah, I guess.
ever since The Last of Us.
Mhm.
And then they did Uncharted 4. Now they're doing The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
What do you think? Next year? That's got to be next year.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not this year. They would have.
No,
Oh.
I'm saying as opposed to 2019.
Oh.
You think it will be out by next year?
Yeah, I
is what
think
I'm-
it probably
is what I'm saying.
Yes, I'm gonna say yes to
Okay.
that one.
So maybe he will have completed most of his role. Or
Yeah.
probably not. If he's a director, he would be working on it right up till ship, right? But
It depends on
Anyway.
on what his segment, how they split. I don't know how they split their roles.
yeah, not a ton to say that, about this other than we wish him well, and
Yeah.
he has made some pretty fantastic games.
Did it sound like he had a next move in mind, or was it like I need to get away from all this for a little bit and get my head together type of departure note?
I don't have anything to announce just yet,
Okay.
but I look forward to the discovery and sharing it with you all soon.
All right.
I open the next chapter with an excitement to continue the journey into the creative process.
Okay.
So something,
Movies.
maybe. They are in LA. Also, there's a lot of talent at Naughty Dog. Like that was fucking not like you would expect a Naughty Dog game to suddenly be bad or whatever, but like when Lost Legacy came out,
Mm-hmm.
like they were involved according to the credits, but they did not run that thing. And
Yeah.
that thing is just as good as Uncharted 4 in my mind.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So there's plenty of people at Naughty Dog who can make excellent games.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean for Crash?
What's that?
What does this mean for Crash?
Well, I can tell you that he started at Naughty Dog in 1999 as a texture artist on Crash Team Racing,
oh, the only good Crash game.
The-
according to
yes.
this farewell letter.
Yes.
Who did that Crash? Is Vicarious? Visions?
No. That was
No,
Naughty-
the new one.
Oh, the new one.
Wasn't that Vicarious Visions?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You think that if and when a new Crash gets made, like that's going to happen, right? Because that thing sold like
Yeah.
gangbusters,
Right.
right? Do you think Vicarious just does it?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, they've
Okay.
got the tech up and running. Like it would make sense.
Yeah.
They got Crash's number.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, they can get him on the line.
Yeah.
They can ink a deal.
Unless they're busy with that PC port of Destiny.
That's true. Yeah.
But-
All right, that was news. Let's take a break.
Okay.
We'll come back with some emails.
Yeah. It's time to discover a new chapter in the Star Trek story.
The trek through the stars?
That's right.
Wagon train to the stars.
That's right.
That's how it was just like covered starship.
Yep. Just going to circle up the starships here with Star Trek Discovery.
I'm going to put on my neutrino bonnet.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
We're going to seal
Churn.
off main engineering.
yep,
and
churn some tachyon butter.
the door is going to come down, and we are going to fucking tactical... and we are going to tactical roll through there
Yeah.
just as the door is closing.
What color is my shirt?
What color do you want it to be?
Anything but red.
All right. We'll give you how about a green or a gold?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know that?
I'll
All
be a
right.
science officer.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You look like maybe a science officer
Yeah.
type.
Okay. Stellar cartography.
Uh-huh. CBS All Access is premiering Star Trek Discovery, a brand new chapter in the Star Trekiverse.
Been a long time coming.
Yeah. September 24th, 8:30. And new episodes will stream every Sunday. Did you know you can try CBS All Access for free right now?
I didn't know that.
You can by going to cbs.com/bombcast.
Yeah.
And then you can,
Sign up.
sign up, get in on some Star Trek.
You punch the buttons on the L cars.
Uh-huh. And then,
And then they give you-
Majel Barrett's voice will come through and say, you've signed up for a free trial.
Oh, this sounds like my dream.
Yeah, cbs.com/bombcast.
All right, emails. Let's read them.
Yeah.
Bombcast@giantbomb.com. There.
Emails for this week.
Nice. Excellent. Eddie writes in, what in the heckin' frick do you do on Bart?
Stand.
Poop.
Okay, well,
Try and avoid certain people.
Great.
Stab the chairs
you've got-
to cut them
Watch
up.
where you're
You've got the-
sitting.
you've got the
watch where
answers.
you're walking.
you've got the answers he seeks. I travel on the Bay Area Rapid Transit System a few times a week into San Francisco. My commute averages about an hour each way. I try to blend in and be tight, but I'm often uncertain what to do when I'm neck to nip, I'm short, with the other passengers in our sardine can.
Mm-hmm.
I feel really self-conscious on how to present myself while commuting. I listen to my podcast and audiobooks, but it doesn't really feel right. My question is, when you're on your shitty commute, how close have you come to pooping your pants while on public transportation?
Very close.
I feel like that question took a hard turn at the end.
I've
Yeah.
come real close to the pee
Yeah,
incident. Yeah, that
you guys
was
are right,
very-
Bart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
I mean, going home, like getting here is okay, but going home, you're literally packing in like to the point where you can't fall over if you wanted to.
Jeez. That's intense.
But yeah, I mean, I bought a pair of Bluetooth headphones, so I don't have to get because getting tangled was a problem for a while. But so I just stand there. It's awkward because my more sensitive area is higher up and in a lot of people's elbow range.
Sure.
So I have to take extra precautions. Let's say.
You wear a cup.
So I just try and get as close to the wall as I can to minimize that danger.
Yeah, just get a cup. That's
Yeah.
probably the right answer.
Safety first, man.
Yep.
I mean, the trick is to feeling awkward about your commute or wondering what people. Everyone's having a miserable time
Yeah.
on your commute. Just remember that. And as long as you're not actively being shitty towards other people,
Try not to make anyone's more miserable
Yes.
than you have to.
you're
Take off
fine.
your fucking backpack,
Yeah.
people. Seriously.
Put it between. Take off the backpack. Put it between your legs. You're
damn it.
golden.
And immediately poop your pants upon boarding the train.
Immediately
Yes.
poop your pants.
And
And you're guaranteed a seat.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen all kinds of stuff on the BART.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand up straight on the BART.
I was
Really?
going to
Which is
ask.
one of the worst parts.
Except I didn't want to
Oh,
ask, but I
man.
was going to ask.
I can't. I have to make sure not to be anywhere near the cameras that
Oh.
hang down
Yep.
the
Oh,
seat
yeah.
because I've definitely hit my head pretty hard on those
Thanks.
before. One time I was riding BART and a guy tapped my back and I turned around, took out my headphones, and he said, "On behalf of all BART engineers, I'd like to personally apologize to you for the design of these trains. But good news, in 2018, this was 2 years ago. In 2018, there'll be trains tall enough for you, probably."
Well, all right. You have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Finally.
I'm covered in sweat by the time I
Oh,
get
yeah.
to my stop.
You get hot on there?
Especially recently,
Oh, that's terrible.
Gross.
Is it your sweat?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
mostly.
mostly. Yeah.
One nice thing about the bus, you can open the windows.
Yeah.
Mike,
Also, try not to think that you're in a tube sitting on the bottom of the Pacific Ocean when you're.
that part's
in
kind of
between.
cool.
It's kind of cool, but it's also.
Until
When you really think about it,
I will say I have been in that position before and just thought about what if the big one hits right
Yep.
now.
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it? I mean,
Enjoy your commute.
all those tunnels were around in '89, right?
Yeah, I think so.
They made it through that.
Yeah.
All right, Mike from Texas. Hello, Bombcast.
Slightly weakened so that they're less likely to make it should something else hit. But hey, what are you going to do?
Howdy, Mike.
Anyway, have a good time, Coach.
One evening, I got home too late to eat before I went to bed,
Mm-hmm.
as I had to get up super early for work the next day. Around 2:30 a.m., my wife made me a sandwich, Black Forest ham, turkey, cheddar, and provolone, and put it in the refrigerator so I could eat before leaving in the morning. His time doesn't quite check out here, but whatever. I got up at 2:30 a.m., went to the kitchen, and grabbed my sandwich out of the fridge. On my first bite, I noticed that the sandwich was really hard to bite through. I figured it was a combination of cold bread and all the cheese being in one side instead of interlaced between the meats. Also, it's 2:30 a.m. So I eat about 3/4 of the sandwich before I look inside the sandwich and notice that what is left of the paper divider from the provolone was still on the cheese.
Oh,
Yep.
My question is, do I tell my wife?
How do you tell her?
no.
She was nice enough to make him the sandwich.
Yeah.
Right? And he ate like 3/4 of the thing.
He made she
was
made him
late.
she made him dinner.
I think you tell it as a funny story.
Yeah,
but
like maybe
you're not
you-
going to believe what I did.
You definitely wait a few sandwiches before you
Yeah.
tell that story.
Wait, that sounds opportunistic.
If it's a common
You're
problem,
just trying to
you know,
milk a
once
few
it's
more
happened
sandwiches
once
first.
or
No.
twice
I'm
is an
saying
accident.
you want to make it. You want to get across the fact that you're not mad.
You don't
about
mind.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit happens, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, mistakes are made. Like, it's whatever.
Also,
If I-
paper is pretty high on low on the list of non-edible things you shouldn't eat. It's fine. It's
not usually toxic, sure.
yeah.
But if she develops a pattern, then it's time to talk.
Also, it's kind of on you for not noticing that first bite.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
There is a degree of it where it's you ate 3/4 of a paper sandwich.
I think if you're waking up at 2:30 in the morning, you're so fucking done out of it at that point that you're probably a little more prone to make that mistake.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Carlos from Massachusetts. So 4 years on from the great Xbox One online only scandal, how do we feel about things? So many games coming out now that are online only, including the latest blockbuster Destiny 2, and I can't say I've seen much griping from the original protesters. It's almost as if the Xbox One had been released as planned, things would have turned out fine.
Well, keep in mind that those are games that are benefiting by being always online. Like the design of those games are such that they are designed to be that way.
You're getting perks when your clanmates do stuff.
Exactly.
Like getting...
It's not like, hey, here's this completely offline single player experience that we're forcing you to connect to the internet for. Though some cases are a little slim on some of that stuff too. So I think that that's not really the same thing. I think the approach that ended up going in its place is instead the soft power that is accomplishing the same thing.
Yeah.
Where digital sales are on the rise, which has the knock-on effect of eliminating used sales, which is what the whole thing was designed to avoid. And it's just kind of happening naturally, which I think is that was the stance that Sony took internally. Like, actually, it was like, this is going to happen one way or the other. Like, you don't need a console that forces it because digital will be such a convenience for so many people that it will eventually just kind of happen on its own.
To Sony's credit, they are helping that process along by running some actually pretty awesome sales.
Sure. Yeah, there's some good sales on the Xbox as well.
Have they gotten there?
Yeah, at times.
Yeah, at times. Like I follow a Twitter bot that like reports price changes on Xbox stuff, and occasionally I go look and go, oh, actually, that's not bad.
Like I feel like there's a flash sale on PSN like every other week at this point.
Definitely.
That day that I bought digital copy of Mad Max for $8.
Yeah,
felt pretty good.
And how much time have you spent playing Mad Max?
Zero.
Good work. It's there. It's there.
It's installed
in the cloud.
Eventually, I'll play
until it gets revoked.
I'll never.
In the great DRM fire of 2022.
Yeah.
So like they're both Sony and Microsoft are accomplishing that goal in a more consumer friendly way.
Yeah.
But we're doing it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Ultimately. So this was probably the smarter way to do it than to try to force it on people before it was time.
Yeah.
Also, patch size and game size and all that other stuff with bandwidth caps and all that other stuff is still very real and still kind of a hassle.
Like my first response to this was like, well, of course they'll force it on the next one because they just delayed the inevitable. But now that there's this continuity of platform,
right,
as they're rolling out like half-step consoles and stuff, there's no natural like
where do you break it off?
Break point where it's like, all right, now this is our requirement.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll never happen.
We'll see where we go. I mean, from here, we'll see what those next boxes even look like. To that end, there was some talk about intelligent delivery. A Microsoft. So we talked about it before in terms of, hey, these 4K textures will be large.
Yeah.
Is everyone going to be forced to download them?
And somebody who sounded like they had development experience wrote in saying, yeah, they have a system for that.
Yes, they do. And some of the details of that, I guess, leaked out. I think Ars Technica may have posted some stuff, or maybe it was Eurogame. Anyway, our Digital Foundry or somebody, but it was specifically what we were talking about. Is like it will know what type of display you're using, which Xbox One model you're on, and download accordingly to prevent you from having to download stuff you'll never use.
I wonder if you have any control over that.
I don't know.
Like if you're on an Xbox One X but a 1080p TV, but you still want the big ass 4K textures.
Right,
if you could
for downsampling or whatever.
Force those downloads?
I don't know. Or I wonder what it detects, if it does detect display size, or if it is just literally, if you're on an X, you get the good stuff. If not, you don't, or what. But
that's good that they're thinking about that.
I wonder what that means for discs. If discs are suddenly now forced to make sure that they have both versions on there, or if there will be a case where, hey, if you want to play the 4K version of this, as soon as you put the disc in, it will download.
Separate download?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's see. Email from Michelle. A couple weeks ago, Jeff expressed confusion at the idea that anyone would bother with reproduction cartridges of old games. And while I very much agree that the Street Fighter II repro that started the discussion is absurd, there is one case for reproduction carts that was not brought up: fan-translated versions of games not otherwise available physically.
Yeah, good point.
For example, I own repro carts of both Clock Tower and Sailor Moon Another Story for Super Nintendo, since those games were never officially available in English, and I prefer playing old games on my old consoles rather than emulators. That said, here's a question for the crew. What games that never received an American localization would you most like to see get an official release?
Like Sega Gaga.
Personally, given how big the Souls games have become, I'm surprised no publisher has scrambled to re-release Shadow Tower Abyss for American audiences.
I've always wanted Front Mission, I think 3 never came over here.
For
Super Nintendo.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. What did you say?
Sega Gaga.
Yeah.
It's like a
I feel like
role-playing game,
that's come up before.
Dreamcast game.
It seemed like a fever dream.
Yeah, that game is definitely a fever dream of sorts. Yeah.
Maybe this is a super obvious answer, but Seiken Densetsu 3,
Oh, sure.
which would have been the sequel to Secret of Mana,
Yeah.
which to this day sounds like it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a great fan translation.
Yeah,
of it out
there
there
are.
too.
There totally are.
Get
Like,
Mother
I
over
could-
here.
I could
Yeah,
get that.
finally, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Did I steal
No,
Ben's?
I was gonna say Mother 3 was
There we
like
go.
the only one I can think of.
If I remember right, that game has like 6 selectable characters. Like you pick a character and they all have different storylines, and they run into each other throughout the story,
Yeah.
and you can like pick who you team up with or something.
Sounds kind of like Chrono Cross.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I think if it's a case where it's not one of the most common cartridges on the planet, being the SNES version of fucking Street Fighter 2,
Sure.
then yeah, there's more of a case to be made for that sort of stuff. I might say that once you're crossing that bridge in terms of buying what's effectively a bootleg version of a cartridge, that investing in a flash cart and buying the original game and dumping it yourself and applying the translation and all that sort of stuff is the slightly cleaner way to go,
Or more flexible.
or more flexible as well.
You can
for
do more.
sure.
Do more with it.
Do more with a flash cart than you can with a repro. But sure.
That works too.
Or some of these like optical drive replacements for disc-based consoles. Like replace your Saturn drive with
Oh yeah,
an
right.
SD card.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Crazy shit. Crazy shit.
Dan in Minnesota. The next raid in Destiny 2 should consist of small buildings on one of the planets with a secret tunnel into a cave system. You'd fight your way deeper and deeper into the caves, defeating bosses until finally you blow open a door to reveal a giant spaceship inside of an even bigger cave. The ship would be under the command of a traitorous guardian named Van Cleef.
Sure. Let's do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you in?
Yeah.
That would be fucking cool.
That would be cool. How about they just recreated the
That's-
fucking Van Cleef encounter?
Like Destiny lifts so much from WoW already that if they basically just
I was
made
gonna
it.
say, what is this?
That's the Dead Mines, dude. It's the
Yeah.
Dead Mines from. It's the first raid in WoW.
Okay.
Which is the thing that I wish Destiny had all along, which is like raids all throughout the game.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Remember
I got to experience WoW raids, and
Yeah.
I probably never will. And
Yeah, I've never done any sort of raid. So
like
I'm
WoW,
excited.
WoW stepped it up so it was such a cool way to like slowly ease you into the concept, right? Because how many people was Van Cleef or Dead Mines? It was 6.
Yeah, something
Sure.
like that.
I think. Like
And
you did.
then you eventually got to like the 40-man
Right.
raids. and
Well, I
stuff
never
like
got
that.
there
Yeah,
because I
but
wasn't
well,
an insane person, but yeah, like you did Van Cleef at level 20, you hit Scarlet Monastery at like level 35, and that one was more complicated than Dead Mines.
Yeah, those are the two I did, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that
can't
was
believe we're talking about WoW and Rory's not here.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, this is super old WoW. This is
Back when it meant something.
13-year-old WoW,
Oh.
almost.
Maybe I did Molten Core.
Yeah, I didn't even get that far.
Was that? I don't
But-
remember.
Like, as interesting as the Destiny raids are, and I'm sure there are a ton of design work and stuff, like, I wish there were little, they get some of that. Strikes have a little bit of those mechanics.
A little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit, but I wish they did more with that stuff.
Yeah.
Scott from Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
This question is mainly for Jeff, but anyone is welcome to chime in. I just finished reading Original Gangstas by Ben Westhoff, and it changed my view of Eazy-E. I got into hip-hop in the early 90s, so all I really knew about him was that he could, quote, eat a big fat dick.
Sure.
I'm sure that's a reference to something.
No, just his
No,
his
I
own
mean, it's
take.
his-
No,
Nobody
yeah,
knows
yeah.
that.
I see. Turns out he was a far more interesting figure and better person than I ever knew. As a hip-hop aficionado and lifelong West Coast resident, what's your opinion of Eazy-E?
Yeah, he's a it's a strange road for Eazy-E.
Yeah.
To starting this record label, to like reluctantly being drawn into rapping itself when he was originally just wanted to be the businessman.
Huh.
And at least that's the folklore version of it.
Okay.
I assume you assume that's accurate. It's been retold so many times. To becoming this like figurehead, but like he was not a talented rapper. He did not write his own lyrics.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Ice Cube, literally one of the lines in one of Eazy-E's early songs is Ice Cube writes the rhymes that I say.
Oh, wow.
So they were upfront about it.
Yeah, like I knew Dr. Dre did.
Yeah,
write
Dre,
his
same,
stuff.
same deal. Ice
Yeah.
Cube and Ren wrote most of the
Okay.
NWA stuff, DOC later on as well. And so they would punch his lines in one at a time, so he didn't have to actually rap well.
Didn't even flow.
Yeah, and eventually he would perform live and get better at over time and stuff like that. But it was all studio trickery that made Eazy-E a star. But he had the charisma to carry it. And whatever. Yeah, he also ran his business, and the stuff with him and Jerry Heller is also fairly well documented. But
he signed his life on the line.
Yeah, exactly. They put a lot of people on in the West Coast for sure.
Is that what I was mainly kind of curious what he was getting at with he was a better person than I thought. I was wondering is that what he's getting at there?
Yeah, I think it's the money dispute. Everyone only focuses on the money dispute with Ice Cube leaving NWA and then later Dr. Dre leaving, and Jerry Heller and his role and all that sort of stuff. But there is more to it than that. But at some point, Eazy-E had dinner with the president.
What?
He had donated. He was a donor to some Republican. I guess it would have been Bush.
When was this? I guess so. When did he die?
Early 90s, early to mid 90s. Yeah, maybe it was mid 90s, 95ish, somewhere around there. And he was on some donor list, and it just got sent to Eric Wright. We would like you to have, and he went for the promotional weirdness of it all, and people picked up on it, and then Ice Cube was then able to just put out something where he just said, "I will never have dinner with the president," and he said that multiple times over and over again to drive the point home. It's a complicated story.
Sure.
That,
Did you see that movie?
I did not.
Yeah.
I want to.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to see it too.
CB4, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. CB4.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I want to see it. It's also stuff that from books and some of the other stuff. So much of that tale is out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now you get to see Paul Giamatti in it.
Right. That is fucking perfect casting. Holy shit. There's a documentary called The Defiant Ones that is simultaneously telling the tale of Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine. And it opens with them selling to Apple and news of that leaking out on Instagram or Facebook with Dre in the studio being very drunk. And hearing that, seeing kind of Dr. Dre tell that story, which of course is like the movie. The cleaned up, sanitized, who's D. Barnes? Who got hit? What? Beating up women? What? No. All that stuff gets left out. It's a fascinating story for sure. Actually, I didn't know too much about Jimmy Iovine's backstory. That series, I recommend that. I think it's on HBO. It's a 4-parter. Cool. It's cool.
Also, now I know who Eric Wright is.
Yeah.
In that Snoop Dogg song.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Chris in Cincinnati. I noticed Sucker Punch hasn't put out a game since 2014, which was Infamous First Light. Do you think we'll see a new Sucker Punch game soon? Also, do you think it's more Infamous, or could we see a new IP from them? I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I don't really have
know if I'm ready for more Infamous.
Yeah, I feel like it seemed like that was sort of done after.
Mm-hmm.
Second Son just didn't grab me the way that the others did. I don't know why.
Same.
That's the thing about Sucker Punch. You never see it coming.
God.
I wonder if they'll do a VR thing. I wonder if they've been deep in on a VR project.
Yeah, they're a Sony studio now, so
yeah,
I'm sure they're up to something. But who can say?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know nothing.
The SOCOM reboot. They're the ones doing it.
God damn it! I made fun of Nick Chester's home screen on Twitter, and my phone has just been buzzing nonstop for the last 5 minutes.
Well.
Jeff from Columbus, Ohio. On a recent Murder Island stream, Ben discussed how he had a meeting with Abby in which Abby threatened to kill Ben.
Yeah.
Abby responded that Ben loves to deal drugs. What's worse? Which does CBS consider to be the more severe infraction? Who here is in the right?
I'm going to say murder.
But it was a threat of murder.
Yeah.
Was it deserved?
It's not the act.
Do you think it was?
But she never said what kind of drugs I like to deal. It's insulin to those who need it.
That could be.
Still illegal.
Real modern Robin Hood story we have going on over here.
Yeah, no, Abby's definitely in the wrong on this one. I'm going to go ahead and say.
Okay.
All right.
Don't threaten to kill people. I don't know.
I mean, yeah. You shouldn't.
Our meetings get dark.
Yeah. Some business getting done in there. Kevin from Seattle. If the cadence of the Grand Theft Auto releases every 5 to 6 years held true for GTA 6, we'd probably start hearing about the game in fall 2018 with a 2019 release date. Red Dead 2 was delayed into Q2 2018, however, and I imagine Rockstar hopes for Red Dead's online multiplayer to generate stupid amounts of cash, just like GTA 5's online thing has, for a similarly lengthy period of time. How much time does Rockstar need to put between Red Dead 2 and GTA to avoid GTA overshadowing and eating into Red Dead's online revenue? Or is having two massive Rockstar releases only a year or two apart no biggie, and all the money will still be made?
Maybe they never have to. Maybe they make as much money as they need just doing the multiplayer stuff in GTA 4. They become like a Valve.
Yeah.
They just never make a never make another one.
This is their platform from now on.
I think as long as they are pulling in money for GTA Online on GTA 5, I don't think we'll see GTA 6.
That's kind of depressing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What
Also-
if they just carry over the multiplayer?
By the way,
I suppose, but
80
I would,
million copies.
right? Yeah.
Also-
Apparently, the largest selling video game.
They are now
of all
declaring
time.
GTA 5 the highest selling game in history.
Yeah. It's still like top 10 sales every month.
Yeah,
it's
More than
it's-
Minecraft?
Insane, dude.
Might be like in terms of like physical tracked or
Okay.
something like that.
Because
But
I can
But
buy
actually-
that, but like, dude, Minecraft.
laptop.
Let me see.
Siri, what's up with the Minecraft?
It doesn't seem
shit?
like there's necessarily comprehensive Minecraft data.
Maybe that's part of it.
Like let's see, there's some numbers for different platforms.
Yeah, that's a weird one because Minecraft has come out so many different ways.
Yeah.
Like the one that just came out for the new 3DS is not necessarily attached to the other one.
Also, some of these sales figures are super old. Like the 360 version had sold 12 million copies as of 2014. Pocket Edition has sold 21 million copies, but this doesn't say when that figure was rendered. I don't know.
And I know they do like school bundles and stuff. They have all sorts of different
Yeah,
plans
yeah.
and stuff. It's
yeah,
probably hard to
you
track.
might be right, but also
Here-
it is probably
Actually, here's a story on Polygon from February of this year that says Minecraft hits to 122 million copies sold.
Yikes.
So,
yeah.
but 80 million,
I
80
think
million
they
of the $60
qualified the
game
80
is
in terms of
fucking-
it being like units, like physical and digital units tracked through NPD.
Okay.
So I think that probably is how they claim that is
Yeah.
because it discounts the early Java Minecraft, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I would assume that Red Dead would have their kind of second stab at or the updated take on what they're doing with online, right? Because the first game had online in it. GTA Online's come out since then, been huge. So I would assume Red Dead's online would be well informed by what GTA Online has been. So maybe we'll see that as like the pivot point for them in terms of like, hey, here's the next set of tools, all this other stuff. We'll see if we'll get people into that, or if that pulls them away from GTA Online. If they keep spending money, maybe it doesn't matter. But I think the reason you wouldn't, or maybe you would, maybe you could just build on it. But I would think that you would want to be able to rebuild a lot of that stuff from GTA Online in a better way, kind of more, building your engine from the ground up to make sure it's good for that stuff.
Maybe GTA Online just becomes its own thing.
Yeah, they
right,
could spin that out as a separate product altogether.
And then you start to wonder, like, if they do that, is there ever a single player GTA ever again?
That's
like, do they need to do that?
Do they need to? No. Will they is a different question.
Yeah.
Well, it's at that point, it's less about the money end of it because they'll be making more money than ever on the online stuff, assuming it's successful. So at that point, it becomes like, do they have a story to tell?
yeah, but there have to be millions of people out there who only want a single player GTA.
I would put myself
Probably
in that camp.
setting-
several of us.
What setting do you guys think that they haven't done yet? Could you see?
Oh, well, I mean, they could go back to. They certainly revisit settings.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could
Okay.
see Vice City maybe coming back into the picture, right?
Sure. I mean, you could see it, but then is it Vice City now? Is it Vice City in the 70s?
Yeah, I don't know, but,
there's
like,
a lot of era stuff they can play with.
Isn't
too,
that the only one they haven't been back to? They've done Liberty City multiple times.
right? There was Vice City Stories, so the portable game.
but as a main like numbered.
Oh, right.
Let's see Chicago. Some really good snow tech.
Do they have a fictional Chicago? I don't think they do.
I don't know.
I bet I don't know that they've rendered one, but I bet they would have a name
They
for
got
it
Los Santos
somewhere.
San
Chai-
Fierro.
Chai.
What's the Las Vegas stand-in?
Las
Right.
Venturas.
That sounds right.
Chimichanga,
That's the one.
Yep.
Illinois.
Sure.
Mhm.
That sounds. Yep.
Home of the Italian beef.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a thought. I don't pretend to know exactly what it is that makes GTA Online so huge, but do you think there are elements of it that don't work in Red Dead that people would really miss? Like, there's not going to be any helicopters, probably,
Right, yeah.
or
There's
cars.
lots of gameplay
Right.
elements.
Or
I
heists.
think
In
You could do a heist.
there could definitely be some bank
Yeah.
robberies for sure.
Yeah.
Train
some of the-
robberies.
Mhm.
Some of the more insane like vehicle stuff that you get in GTA is not going to be in Red Dead.
Wouldn't make sense. So yeah, I think some of that stuff would appeal, but what you're saying is also some of the same reasons why I don't really care about Red Dead in the first place is because it doesn't have the stuff that really draws me to GTA.
Yeah.
But even on its own, I'm not a huge fan, regardless of that. But yes, I think that's a real thing. But there's probably also more that they could do in that universe that wouldn't make sense for GTA that they use to fill in those gaps.
Sure.
I think there's a viable way to make an online Red Dead thing.
You can pretty much bet money that they haven't invested a lot of resources in figuring that out at this point.
Yeah, whereas like last time around, or with GTA Online, like that thing felt like an afterthought when it came out.
Like, didn't they patch it in?
I
the
guess it
servers
wasn't there
weren't
at
live at
launch.
launch,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
there was something
Like,
about
it
it
was
that
going to
took-
be there, but they and that stuff seemed ambitious in a way, but also very hard to get a sense of what that thing was going to be. And then early on, I think it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But people stuck with it anyway, just because people love GTA that much that they were like, okay, well, this is terrible, but we're going to keep doing it anyway because we're kids and we love to murder.
That's what kids love.
It's true.
What they crave.
Yeah. And
I dipped back in, not recently, but a ways after they initially launched it, and had some fun with it.
Yeah.
They've been adding stuff.
Cool.
I mean, if anything, putting out a new GTA Online lets them close some of the loopholes around hacking and cheating
Yes.
to get free money and stuff like that happen.
And more loot boxes.
Yeah, and yes, remonetize all over the place and add all kinds of bullshit to it. Sure, they could do all kinds.
Shark cards.
Shark cards on shark cards on shark cards.
100 Trevors
Mm-hmm.
jump out of a helicopter.
All right.
Ooh, that sounds like a nightmare. I don't know if this is infringing on other content territory, but Ryan writes in and says, please rank the Samurai Showdown games.
They're all good.
Two's the
They're all
best.
the best.
Yeah. 2, 1.
Two's the best of the best.
2.
I need to revisit
1.
some of the more recent ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 5 and 6. I
Two.
need to revisit those.
Oh, I don't think of 6 as even really existing.
Is that the 3D one?
Yeah, I think. Well,
I don't remember.
it was the Adamus. Like I think of the Neo Geo games, like 5
Yeah,
Special.
I only think of
Yeah.
is
one
the
through
last
3.
Samurai Showdown
I don't
game.
even know if I've played 4 or 5.
Yeah, I would probably say 2, 1, 5, 4, 3.
2 is definitely my favorite.
There was a 3D Samurai Showdown, wasn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Warriors Rage,
What was that for?
PS2.
the Hyper Neo Geo 64.
That's what I was trying to get to,
right.
was the name of that thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
that thing.
It
Do you
was
have
just
one of those?
worse-
No, there's no home.
There was
version
never
of
a home
it.
version?
Yeah, it's just an arcade thing.
Just pretend that Bushido Blade is 3D Samurai Showdown and you're good.
It's totally different.
It's
Nidhogg is 2D Bushido Blade.
What?
Big Nidhogg
What?
patch came down this morning. I want to see what that does.
Hmm.
There's 2 hit Nidhogs now.
Did you see? Oh, actually, I wonder if this is the patch. Did you see that they're adding, I guess that thing was part of the Omegathon.
Oh,
Oh, really?
I think it was or maybe something similar, maybe not that, but something similar at PAX.
Yeah.
And they had made a special level for it,
Oh,
and they just patched that into the game,
That's
or,
cool.
or are going to. It's a neat idea. How about like 2 more emails?
all right.
Dave from Summers, New York. I was wondering, why are you all sick so often? Are you sharing controllers and not cleaning them? Running a secret daycare of germ-infested children? Not getting enough sleep? Too many events with gamers? I'm around the same age and run into sickness when it's cold in New York like everyone else, but you guys seem to get hit all year round. Just a concerned fan.
I
don't-
don't feel like we.
There's
get sick.
there's a difference
There
between
was a-
getting
there was
sick
a run,
and
but,
illnesses.
like,
yeah.
After Dan left, it seems that we haven't really gotten
Yeah.
that sick.
I got sick once since I
Miraculous.
started working here, I think.
And it was after PAX, right?
Yeah, travel
which-
travel will do it for sure.
Travel and being on an airplane, all that stale air getting recirculated, it certainly does happen.
I have plenty of non-sickness related medical issues, but that's different.
Actually, for how much we all ride public transportation, I'm shocked that we don't get sick more than we do.
Maybe that's why you don't get sick more than you do.
I'll
'cause you're
take.
always around.
I built up quite an immunity after 12 years of working with kids
Yeah.
and riding BART every day.
Sure, that'll do it.
I mean, you got sick at PAX. You touched that fidget spinner before I put it in my mouth, and I didn't get sick.
I did, but it was
maybe
a different day.
It was a different day, so it might have been before you got sick.
Yeah. Trace it all back to Kessler.
Yeah.
As with most things.
He is the alpha and the omega.
Yes. How do you regard your hand after you've been gripping the railing on the BART?
What do you mean?
Toxic.
Like, would you eat with that hand?
I have and do frequently,
Yeah.
but I'm less worried about the hand railing and more worried about like the escalator hand railing for some
I
reason.
feel like they're all the
with
same.
good reason. Those are urinals to
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Oh, right.
So,
I didn't think about that.
Oh, yeah. I try not to touch the handrails for sure.
But
top
even
ones are usually okay.
they're okay, but even after I'm on the bus, like holding the thing,
Yeah.
just my hand is
Feels
in quarantine until I can go watch it.
I came in with mystery poop one time on my hand. Like
Ah.
I got to work and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Like, this isn't
I'm
my
not
son's
eating-
poop?
Yeah. I'm like, I sniff it. Yeah, that's poop.
Oh boy.
Oop, that's poop.
Yep.
That's
If you're looking for
the
a
popular kids
episode,
franchise.
Dave.
Jason's spin-off fathering podcast
Yeah.
coming soon.
We did have some mystery poop at home. Yeah. Like
Oh, yeah?
as we were leaving,
Yeah.
I pick up Griffin and then I look on the ground and there's some like smushed poop. And we're like checking our shoes, trying to find out where the hell this came from. It was from Griffin's shoes.
Ugh.
But we don't know when he did it.
Oh no.
But then Lisa told me that she found him in the morning in the living room with no diaper.
Oh no.
So it's very possible that he went and pooped on the floor and stepped in it at some point.
We've all been there.
That's dangerous
Yeah.
knowledge that he's gained.
Last time I was found in the living room without a diaper, it ended poorly.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. Last email, David from Austin. While drinking heavily last night, I came across my new favorite subgenre on YouTube. Tours of dead shopping malls.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is good stuff.
Great. Jeff, I'm sure you've gotten up to some real mall rat shenanigans. Any 90s rific stories to share? What's the God damn it. What is the weirdest hole you've fallen down online recently? So what, you're into the shopping mall
It's
tours?
fascinating. Like I don't need to like watch those videos on YouTube. I just go to a fucking mall and just walk around and go, holy shit.
Yeah.
Why is any of this here?
Yeah. Are there people there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like when I went to Stonestown to buy that Switch a couple weeks ago, it was pretty full.
Yeah.
Like people were at the mall.
I went to the Northgate Mall in Terra Linda, which is halfway between here and my home over the weekend. And it was like simultaneously the worst and best mall experiences I've had in like the last couple of years. Best in that I actually bought stuff. I feel like half the time my wife and I go to the mall and just like look around like, this is all shit. Or she's looking for stuff that's like never in her size because everything's all picked over and torn apart and just completely fucked up. And this mall, they renovated it relatively recently. So it's like, it's nicer than most malls in the area. But at the same time, it feels like there are way fewer stores. And you just look around and go like, there's like barely anything here. I've walked up and down this mall 4 times. I cannot get another order of pretzel bites. Like the food court is the saddest thing. Like there's a whole open area that they had replaced with just like trampolines and like bungee diaper, like a bungee swing thing for kids to jump around in. And these cool fucking, it was like a panda on wheels that you would get on and ride around.
Oh yeah.
And it had a little quarter slot you could drop into and just
They're like
ride it around the fucking mall.
ATVs.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're scary and awesome.
And I so fucking bad wanted to get on one of those things, but I couldn't drum up the fucking confidence to walk over to the dude and
man.
go, yo, can I just ride this? Or like, would I give you money? Or like, no, there's no kid here, just me.
This thing's not doing anything.
But also I bought like 4 shirts and a hoodie or something. So it was like the most fruitful mall trip I've had in a good long time.
Malls have their uses.
But, well, it's like, that's the problem, right? Is malls increasingly becoming like showrooms for stuff you go buy on Amazon later.
Yeah.
Or like Best Buy's role as like, go look at a TV in person before you go buy it on the internet instead. Or,
I was just trying to find, because I thought I saw this the other day, and I don't remember the actual number, but like some like alarming percentage of people in this country identify Amazon as like basically their only retail source.
Yeah.
At this point, like shocking.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
And it,
like the retail apocalypse is coming.
Toys R Us just filed for bankruptcy
it's
today or whatever.
it's
You want to talk about like end of an era type stuff for video games? Like that was the only place to go buy video games for me for a generation or two of consoles.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Just remember staring at that. We've talked about it before. Just the Toys R Us wall of game front, like covers, but not boxes, just covers and flaps.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And you pulled a ticket.
Yeah,
went to
you
the
go
front.
to the booth and you look in the booth and just see if there's anything there, because sometimes stuff will be there before it's out on the floor because the release date hasn't come yet. And you're like, I know there's a case of fucking TMNT, the arcade game for the NES in there. Just let me buy one.
You guys got Star Tropics back there?
Y'all got that Star Tropics? Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
I used to think I just wanted progress to steamroll automation into everything, and like that retail was just a victim of that, and it should have been better, and that's why it's losing, and all this other stuff. And now I think I realize just how destructive that will be to society.
That's bad for society.
Like there's a way there, and it'll get there, but it seems like it's going to get there in the bloodiest way possible, and it's scary fucking thing.
Starts with Whole Foods.
Right. Yeah. I bought. I went to I ate at McDonald's in the airport, and on my way back from PAX, because I had a bunch of time to kill, and they had a touch screen ordering. You could go up and order from people, but they also had the touch screen stuff.
Yep.
And I was like, I want to know about this. I want to give it a go. And they also had an app you could just download and
the McDonald's
place your
by
order
my old
that
job
way.
has the same thing.
Yeah, and I went in and it was everything. As a kid, as someone who doesn't want the burgers the default way, it was the thing I always dreamed of in my head of like, I just want to be able to hand you a thing that has the order written on it so that there's no confusion.
There's no onions.
No confusion, and you don't have to like talk to anyone about it.
Right, yeah, and there's no barrier there. Yep. It's like, the machine says exactly what I want because I made sure it was so. Here's a punch card. Punch it in. I used to literally think it was a punch card. Now, technology went a different way. And yeah, I was able to go in there, and it took way longer than ordering with a person because it was my first time using the thing. But sure enough, like I was able to go in there. Yeah, just make this plain and then put ketchup on it. That's what this is exactly what I want.
And you can order a lot more food because you don't feel shame.
Totally. Yeah, you could go in. I went in because it was an airport, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a very strange experience. Like it just felt like on one hand it was the thing I dreamt of as a kid. On the other hand, it was like, this is bad for people.
Yeah. You realize you're putting people out of jobs, then it's like,
or then well, yeah.
There's still like an attendant there. Like
that's the thing. There was someone who had to stand there and go like, hey, you can order right here if you want, to people who were too afraid to use it. And then,
but in 5 years,
I don't know. You say that, but like, at least where I lived about 15 years ago, self-checkout at the grocery store was becoming a thing, and then it kind of went away.
That's here now.
I've seen it around here and there, but my understanding is that it's not as widespread as it could be because
it's always like a couple lanes.
Like a lot of people don't like using it.
I think it's used actually.
Like
I use it at Target all the time.
Like a lot of people
definitely our preferred.
Yeah, but a lot of people seem to still want a person to.
If I have a lot of stuff, I want people.
Yes.
I want people involved. If I'm getting like 3 things, I want to get out of there as fast as I fucking can. But then there's you end up in situations where like the way they track things for putting it in a bag. Like I just had this happen, where like I put the empty bag on the tray that you're supposed to put all the stuff in after you scan it, and then it was like, there's a weird thing here.
Foreign object.
Yeah, and so someone finally had to come over and go like, the image already has the bag in it, so just let's put the bag up here and do this. And like, there's no instructions for that part of the process. You're just meant to fuck around with it and figure it out, or have the person there to help you, which just seems like an impure, fucked up version of what could be a cleaner experience.
Well, now there's that whole. Have you seen that Amazon store where there is no checkout?
Yeah.
I mean,
and like I think that's great in a way, like in terms of convenience and all that other stuff, and just like raw technology. You look at it and go like, that's fucking cool as hell. But
yeah, it's just like a Black Mirror episode waiting to happen.
The larger ramifications of it right now are too much.
Yeah.
And for us, well, for society to get where it can go, we need to find more things for those people to do, but that hasn't happened. So right now it's so destructive, and it's going to be a fucking very awful fucking time as that stuff rolls in.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to do with like how much minimum wage is or not. It's going to happen either way. Yeah, it's
Truckers.
Yeah,
Truckers are going to
Elon Musk going to put truckers out of business.
Yeah, they're going to be hurting real bad in 10 or 15 years.
And taxi drivers,
Yeah.
and all these Uber drivers that are just temporary people until the tech gets better.
Yeah.
You know, like that's their whole business plan, is to try to last until then, right?
Yep.
Like
corner the market and then replace the workforce with robots. That's the dystopian Silicon Valley dream.
Right.
People are already playing video games for us on Twitch.
That's right.
Shit.
Everything is automated now.
Yeah.
Twitch is playing the video games.
Right. Yeah. Outsource the outsourcing.
Are these? I'm curious about these dead shopping mall tours on YouTube. Are they malls that have been closed and
It's
people broke
usually
in?
like people like breaking into closed down malls and
Okay.
stuff like that. It's crazy to look at that stuff.
That's even crazier than just showing up to a mall that is just kind of dead.
Yeah.
Like this is actually a closed mall.
Yeah, like just the images of it. It's super creepy. It looks like zombie apocalypse. Like it's quiet.
Yeah.
The remnants of the storefronts that are still in there.
I assume that is just a mall waiting to be torn down or repurposed because that's too much land to just let sit.
Yeah, eventually. It depends on where it is. You know,
that's
some
true.
of them stay there for a long time.
Ah, that's true.
Like, isn't Fashion Island still there? Like, isn't the mall still
I don't
there?
know.
But it's been closed for I don't remember. Yeah,
Well, this question got heavy.
society, man.
That's the most recent hole I fell down.
Yeah.
Societal hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Well,
and competitive rock, paper, scissors tournaments.
on that note, send all your questions to John, the podcast at giantbomb.com. Live show? Call-in show?
Yeah. After
Yeah,
show.
we're gonna take a very short break. I'm pretty much ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have
Yeah.
you honed your in between your interim process from
Usually
end
it
of
involves
podcast to
eating
beginning
a
of call-in show
sandwich, but
in the most rapid fashion possible?
Yeah, but I just decided to eat a really big breakfast right
Nice.
before I got here.
That works too.
That's smart.
I went to two different places because I wanted one thing from one place and another thing from another place.
Yeah,
That's clean living.
for sure. We'll have a bunch of other stuff this week. You guys are going to check out Marvel Capcom, Dishonored,
We'll,
Tooth and Tail.
Tooth and
Try
Tail,
and check out some Heat Signature.
E-Signature.
Yeah.
I went to play Mario Odyssey last week.
Yeah.
We'll have some stuff on that
Cool.
soon. Gonna build a new PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll stream something while you're doing that.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Stay tuned on the live channel.
Yeah.
Keep your live dial
Yeah. Keep your live dial dialed in.
pointed this way.
We'll dial you up.
And you guys will be available for dial-in
Yes.
very shortly. All right. Thanks for listening. See you next week.